Good day, my dear friends. It is good to be with you today. I have all morning with you. Thank God. Well, I'm a little half hour late. Anyway, we have another person got caught up in some work issues, and so I have all morning with you. So that's good. I've got so much to go over with you and everything. I was before I was getting ready to come to work this morning, I was watching the Rachel show in the morning. I don't know too much about this person, some cook or something, but she had two dudes on there and a doctor, a medical doctor. I think she was a medical doctor. I just got on the little ends of it, and they brought in pro athletes, and I can't remember which ones they brought in, but what they did is they took one guy and put him on a high protein diet, the O. Atkins type diet. And there he had the cheeses and the eggs and the meats and all that on his side of the table. The other guy, he did a lot of raw fruits and berries and melons and salads. And he did, I think it's starch and sugars too. And so they put him through a lot of athletic modules and things like that to see what kind of diet. And it was also about weight loss. So the dude that ate the high protein diet lost the most weight, the quickest. However, he also lost muscle mass doing that. And what they didn't understand is, and what they're bringing out is obvious, the need of the body for carbon, carbohydrates, carbon chain constituents. Carbon is gasoline to your body with oxygen, just like a car. You got a carburetor here, and you mix that with carbon, baby, and pull out the hydrogen, right? Now, the problem with high fats is, of course, and it's just what the lymph system is involved in, but fats pick up this hydrogen, can pick up this hydrogen and create ketosis. So there's all kinds of processes that go on in the dumping of hydrogen in the body, and maybe sometime we'll get in a little more chemistry of that, but I just hate to tear that away, because once you start down a road of intellectualism, I don't want to lose our simplicity, but it was pretty far out. And this guy that had the raw, mostly raw, not all raw, but they were saying that he outdid this high protein dieter in every module that they did on him, and it was just and get this, the all protein diet left him pre-diabetic. So these are some of the things you just got to get with. There's been so many studies, guys, so many studies, and this is just a little thing that they did. It was a big thing. They brought in some pro people in there and really looked at this, and this was supposedly a big deal. So in Oz, he did his thing in the zoo, and I mean, come on. It is time that humans wake up to the reality of what you guys are doing and what you know and what you're proving to the world, But this is just more proof for those paleo thinkers, and those high-protein thinkers. You can't do it, guys. You can't do it. You might think you can. You might have some off-the-cup rationale that would not be scientific, for one, and then it wouldn't match all the studies that's done, and this is just another one. Anyway, just thought that was interesting that on a high-protein diet it left him pre-diabetic. Now, why would that be? There's a couple reasons. Think about the acidosis and the effect upon the kidney and adrenals. Think about several things in that regard. All right, this question is from Laura Croft. Hi, Laura, honey. You were not clear. Are you saying IC, and I take that to be interstitial cystitis, needs to take a lot of acid fruits while buffering with slippery elm to heal? No. I think when you have interstitial cystitis, whenever you even get an astringent, you're going to feel it. And you can't help it because you got to have astringent foods. So I think when you're dealing in high inflammation in the urinary tract, you're going to feel better if you stay from the subacid down to the sweet and use some green drinks tentatively to help do a little drawing. And I mean high chlorophyll. Nature chlorophyll, not the dumped in chlorophyll. take some like alfalfa sprouts and put them in a closed jar and wait till they get really, really dark green and use them. But a lot of parsley and dandelion green. You have to be careful about irritation. The problem is that even though it feels sometimes when you're detoxing with interstitial anything, but particularly when the bladders, because it's right there in your face, basically, in terms of pain and discomfort and the need to pee and all that stuff that's there, like a UTI. But you've got to get these acids out of these tissues. And that the only way you're going to do that is through hydration and increasing kidney and adrenal function so there's filtration. Even though we're down to the bladder, we've got to get that lymph system moving in the bladder. Remember, all tissues have a lymph system in it. The problem is when you go to try to find the lymphatic system within the kidneys, it's hard to find any information on that. It's almost like they just went blank. Interesting. So anyway, no, not at all. The slippery elm, the marshmallow, the perhaps some chamomile, mullein, these are all anti-inflammatories, meaning antacids. And so, yes, highly recommended. Now, I've got this new stomach tea. Oh, that's what I got to write up the information on the stomach tea for them. But the stomach tea is perfect for that too. And I would highly recommend getting the stomach tea for IC, or I suppose you're referring to interstitial cystitis. There's so many initials and so many abbreviations because the words are so ridiculous that who knows anymore? Everybody says, well, I got ID. Okay, there's a lot of different IDs. What kind of, there's a lot of stuff like that. It's insane. I prefer the more simple living of life and the enjoyment of life instead of the intellectual tear that leads you nowhere. But anyway, I would do that. At the same time, you got to always remember to work on the adrenal glands when you're working on anything. These glands are key to elimination as well as key to neural responses in the autonomic. Heart, breathing, peristalsis, bowel movements, little things like those things. And so these adrenal glands are key. And how interesting is it, you can hit these things almost all day long, where the thyroid and pituitary, you got to be a little careful. So, Laura, no, I wasn't saying that. It's not, I don't try to force things. I never was that kind of healer. But I like to definitely push the envelope if you have to, because sometimes there's no way around opening some doors and having a little discomfort with that. Sometimes there's no way. But what's beautiful is that we have all the herbs to help us buffer. Because we have to have some draw. You have to have some lymphatic work. You have to be able to get your kidneys filtering and to get the lymph nodes clean. Remember, don't forget the lymph nodes. If your lymph nodes have been swollen all your life, and someone asked me why others take so long and others don't, so to speak. Here's another good one for you. What about the lymph nodes? What if your lymph system is backed up in your mother when you're first born, from being in your mom, then you're born, then you're fed all this crap, either formulas or milky products and crap like this. Not mom's milk on a raw food diet, but even mother's milk from an omnivorous eating female. High protein eating female would not be good with that milk. That baby wouldn't be able to tolerate that milk. So these are some of the things that you have to realize, that chemistry rules. We live in a world of chemistry. However, with that said, then if I was a physicist, I'd say, oh, no. Electromagnetic energy rules. And if I was a quantum physicist, I would say, no, intelligence rules energy, because energy is intelligence. If I was a spiritual guy, I would say, no, consciousness, which is intelligence, which is that which is all, rules all things. And then you can keep going back to the God state, because you're right there now. So, and there's another one that I've just while I was standing there reading, here we go. Oh, this fit, it's funny how these things kind of run together. Let's see, this is from Patrick, and he's a 33-year-old male that has been diagnosed with Lyme. Yeah, everybody. I was watching Jesse Ventura's thing on the Lyme and the lab off of the, what island is that? Off of New York. He had Lyme and interstitial cystitis about 2 years ago, and nothing from the allopathic community has helped, because That's why when I say detoxification is the golden key, I didn't invent detoxification, but I did invent slapping herbs and botanicals and changing the twist the way we use and see botanicals instead of botanical medicine or herbal medicine. You know, that medicine is a name, I think, reserved for emergency cases, whether it's herbal emergency or ER work. Emergencies, tears in the skin, and if you're at a farm boy, hanging barbed wire, which it was common, you know, things like this. There's all kinds of herbs you use for those kind of emergencies. And we have the bleeding formula for internal bleeding. It'll stop internal bleeding. And with women that have heavy menses, it's surely helpful until you fix the pituitary, right? So there's a lot of helpful herbs for treatment-based thinking, like antispasmodics. So we could use some of that in the process of getting someone well. Trying to control seizures the best we can, trying to do all these things the best we can, because we know that pharmaceuticals all have kicks to them, because they're not regenerative, they're not nutritive, they're suppressive if anything, or stimulants if anything. So all of them have side effects because it's the wrong way, and you're bringing foreign chemistry into the body. So you have all these responses from all of this stuff. I had stopped all the drugs because they were not working and the side effects were causing other issues. No kidding. I also have high blood pressure and a high pulse rate. So let's look at this right now. He says it has a high blood pressure. Was there a link between interstitial cystitis and high blood pressure? Absolutely. Kidneys, not filtering. And so, Patrick, you've got to get into your kidneys, and of course the bladder's right there too. But let's go back in the lymph nodes. If the lymph nodes are too hard from years of being bloaty and holding acids and not being able to move, the problem can be in the lymph nodes. You could get your kidneys filtering and have lymph nodes that have atrophied or decayed or become hardened, and you're not going to move anything that's growing on the other side, any swelling, any tumors growing on the other side of that because of that lymph node blockage. So the lymph nodes are big friggin' deals every way you look at them, and should be loved immensely. So the high blood pressure, definitely urinary tract. I mean, unless you have the flipping kind, and then it's still going to go back to the kidneys and adrenals. It's just that the inflammation is more up at the top, and the kidneys are hanging in there, so to speak. High pulse rate, you got to look at this from a couple of ways. The thyroid controls heart rate. So, the hypothyroid case, you can get some real low heart rates and then bump into a pacemaker. Did you see the new pacemakers they have now? Little bitty things, and they can inject with a syringe. Where the old pacemakers, they had to hook the wire into your atrium. Oh, and of course, if you remove the pacemaker, your wires are pretty much stuck unless you have surgery. I mean, been a lot of things like that. So I would be interesting to see, that would be like a moving toward a tachycardia, you would do the thyroid. So a detoxification, when you're in a hyper state, you don't give any glandular or any herb for that particular tissue. You don't want to, it's already being overly inspired. Generally, over-inspiration or hyperactivity of tissue is an acidotic environment, is acidosis. Acids have you can see that with estrogen and testosterone. Acids have a stimulating effect in the body. And that's why some of your minor acid pHs are beneficial pHs. When you get into the too hots, though, that's when you get yourself burnt. The same thing with alkalis. You can get some real burning alkali, lime, and up in these areas. I find I am unable to handle stressful situations. Well, that's your adrenals. And of course, they're down too. You're 33 years old, and you know factually at 33 years old, probably 95% of humans on the planet fall into this category in terms of kidney and adrenals. It's up there. I think I have white coat hypertension because the doctor's office, my BP and pulse. Well, why wouldn't you? When you go into a medical doctor's office, those guys hurt people. Needles, all these exams, ridiculous exams and stuff. It sounds like they're on the job and doing their thing. Take another look. Take another look. Like I said, I haven't examined too many people. We look at tumors and stuff just to help you with them, to determine which way we're going to go with tumors. But outside of that, what are you going to do? That's what's cool about what you guys know. It's universally applied, and there isn't anything you can't regenerate. Now, you might be working for it, and and it might take you a few years, but it's okay. What else are you going to do in that time period? And the spirituality and the lessons learned and the adventure of this is incredible. And what other adventure on the planet right now is incredible? Not a lot of them. Maybe going to Costa Rica or Thailand and having fresh organic fruit. Although I'm a little mad at Thailand too, because they didn't turn over those plane records quick enough. So yeah, I find that's interesting. Well, some people don't think. Okay. He's got a high creatinine. Okay, so right there it is. Look at this, Patrick. Your creatinine is 1.2. So right now, and you have low testosterone. Well, you would. Because as you suppress the function of the testes, the prostate, and the adrenals, all your stats go down. You can have hyperactivity and they'll go up, but hypo, bam! And so but 1.2. Patrick, stop. That's why the interstitial cystitis, but let me tell you, it's not just the bladder. Your kidneys are going. The same acidosis is building up interstitial in the kidneys, because that's where you're seeing your creatinine now way over the top. These creatinine levels should be 0.5, and you're over double that. So it's enough to say that you're losing your kidney function, and your urine stream will get less and less. Your prostate numbers will go up. Lower back will start going down. I mean, it's a mess. And I forget, but there was a guy on the news that they gave him testosterone, and two things happened to him. He lost his hair and something else, taking testosterone. That's interesting, isn't it? Thyroid levels are fine, and I'm at healthy weight. Remember, do not count on blood saliva work for accurate hormone or steroid levels. Use symptomology. There's enough symptomology from gland failures to be able to determine that. Remember, I told you that I had a medical doctor call me here one day, and he was yelling at me about giving his patient thyroid. And he wasn't screaming, but he was, puffy. And so I said, well, who's your patient? So we looked her up, and sure enough, I was reading to him what she wrote on her health questionnaire, and she had a long list of thyroid and parathyroid weakness. So I'm reading it to him, and I said, what does that sound like to you? Then he said, oh, that sounds like thyroid, all right. He said, but her blood work shows fine. So I told him, I said, then why don't you treat your patient, not her blood work? And he hung up on me. And it's like, well, that's the problem. It's not about, that's the intellectual side, the academic side I'm telling you about. You get caught up in papers and facts and figures, and you forget real time, real people. You can't do that. Can't do that. Good healers are into real people, real cells, real fluids, real chemistry, real magnetics, real stuff, not fakey stuff. I was placed on testosterone therapy for a year, but it was raising, oh, look at this one. Here's another one. This guy was put on testosterone therapy for a year, but it was raising his red blood cells. I got to look at that one, figure that one out. And hemoglobin. Very high, so I decided to quit cold turkey and feel hormonally fine. Since going fruits and veggies along with the maca powder, I feel a lot better, but nothing seems to improve the interstitial cystitis, because this is detox. And that's the difference between feeling better on vegetables and fruits and things and pulling and drawing on tissue. Because you got to astringe, you got to hydrate. Two things, astringe and hydrate. And this is a process, Patrick. It's going to take you a little while. You got to get your kidney numbers down. They're not looking good at all, and you're walking toward dialysis here, and you want to back way away from that. You don't want anything to do with that. So you want to get onto those kidney formulas, get onto the fruits and the berries and the melons, maybe a salad a day, but really want to get in there. So again, as I talked to this one lady about interstitial cystitis, the same thing applies. Same thing applies. And get that stomach tea, it'll soothe everything, but at the same time, you've got to expectorate everything. You've got to clean, you've got to eliminate these acids that are stuck in tissue. So either you got lymph nodes blocking or your kidneys aren't filtering. Well, I can tell your kidneys aren't filtering because look at your creatinine levels. Matter of fact, you are now in the process of losing your kidneys and the bladder too, because acidosis interstitially like that just chews up the cells eventually. So this is a really must-do. Again, go to the subacid and the sweet fruits for a while. Watermelon's a little strong. I mean, maybe you don't think about watermelon being strong, but it's red. And red is strong. It's aggression, and it sure is aggressive. I'll tell you what. It can accentuate pain, so you want to be careful with that. But watermelon, beet juice, beet bulbs, that's heavy-duty interstitial cleanser of the urinary tract and liver. So yeah, all these things would be beneficial. I find going raw fruits to be very difficult because it causes bladder pain and frequency. Absolutely. And that's where the catch-22 comes in, and what this other lady was talking about here with the same problem. So when you get up into your lemons and your oranges, maybe a good organic, very sweet orange would be okay. But your grapefruits and stuff is just what you need, but painful. That's the problem. Lemons are very astringent, but it can be painful in a highly inflamed area, no question. Every day I find myself eating less and less fruit and more veggies because of the pain and urinary urgency that subacid fruits cause. This is true, and if you have to, if it's so bad, you get on your green drinks. Get away from your vegetables in terms of eating them because of the digestion, because you've got to invoke detoxification. So you could, the only step down from fruits and berries and melons is green drinks. And that's the only other step that'll help you at all. And it will. So if you can jump back to the greens for a little while, add some fruit as you go, apples particularly, things that are soothing maybe more, but at the same time keep pulling and pulling. Use the herbs. Use the tea, like the stomach tea to soothe, and use the lymphatic herbs and the urinary tract herbs to pull and heal. So you just have to work yourself out of that like that. And that's what we're finding for you YouTubers or Facebook, is that people have to work out of these conditions. And if you get frustrated when you have these things, don't. Because you've already been to the allopathic community and there's nothing there. There never was, never will be. This is the only place to have remedy, but you have to hang in there. You have to ride the bull. And sometimes the bull bucks pretty hard, man, but you got to ride it. Because it's the only way you can get on the other side to remedy, to Wellville. Not all roads to Wellville are beautiful and full of love and friendly. Sometimes there's some bumps and humps and some pitfalls, and this is one of them. But you got to get this out, get this urinary tract filtering, or you can't get better. There's nothing you can do, and you can't go steroids, you lose your adrenals. It's just that whole round the rosy type of thing that you just get worse and worse and worse and worse, and you're only 33 years old. So you got to get in there and work this out of there. Can you please recommend me exactly what I should be eating in the herbal protocol? Absolutely. Do you feel that a 30-day water fast could? Absolutely do. Or even a 10-day water fast, even a 5-day water fast. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I probably would use maybe some RO or distilled water on that fast with this problem. And it'll draw. You're going to get some pulling on that. But yeah, I think that would be helpful. But again, that's the problem, catch-22. We get into fasting and you're not halfway detox. When you start fasting and you're not filtering, it can have some consequences. But I think when you're really suffering like this, that a good water fast would be okay. But I do short terms at first. It's just short terms. What about grapes, or what about pear juice? Try pear juice. Peach juice, but pear juice might be soothing for you and also pulling a little bit. Try that. Since I will only be consuming water, therefore no acid will hit the bladder, allowing it to heal. But you have to realize that every cell that makes up the bladder is constantly producing acids. So your bladder's constantly getting more acidic just from the cells that comprise it, because it's not able to drain interstitially. So these acids are just sitting there burning back to the cell. If it wasn't for phospholipids in the cell wall, which is more HDL, then you wouldn't have the protection. The cell would be gone. You'd already have a gone bladder. But, you know, in the process, you're getting a decayed bladder, Patrick, and you've just got to stop all this and turn that around. The stomach tea, I think, will be perfect for bladders like that, because I designed it for stomachs like this where you can't put anything. It can get so bad that even with interstitial cystitis, guys, you can't take anything down anymore. You even in some of these GI tract and stomach processes that are similar, you can't even drink water. Water, you could throw it right up, especially in gastroparesis and things like this. So this is why this tea was designed to sip, go slow in those type of cases, because you guys are gonna have some cases that'll smarten you up so well. You guys, I'm so proud of all you Facebook people that are helping. All you guys are beautiful souls, and I'm hearing great stories. And this is the beauty of this. You know, it's work, guys. This is, you know, I try to make it easy, and so people will take it on and go with it. But you know, this is a big deal. And it's a big deal to turn someone from an invalid all the way into something robust. And you can do it. It just takes patience, it takes time, it takes working things in and out, and like working with the different foods, working with the different herbs. But that's the uniqueness of our field. You know, it's simplistic, yet it's very scientific, as much as we all know. Because one thing that I prefer to try to maintain in our sites are facts, not ideologies, and not concepts that hold no water. So both Patrick and Laura, both, you guys got to work yourselves out of these, because interstitial cystitis will deteriorate your bladder like nobody's business. So however you work it out. But this is the benefit of the slippery elms and marshmallows and mulleins and things like this. They can help us. So as you drink these, it'll soothe and coat. So Patrick, the same way. Get some of this new stomach tea and start drinking it. And it'll also have a minor detoxification aspect to it, but it's more of a anti-inflammatory healing properties. At the same time, you got to remove the acids. See? So this is the ongoing thing that we're up against. Good questions, very important questions, vital, because working people out of these dark corners can be trying, and the client, the individual, has to understand that. That's why, Patrick and Laura, you've got to understand what you're up against and what not to do and what to do. And I understand that the acid fruits, so let's back down, buffer, things like that. There's all kinds of things we can do in the health field. We have food chemistry and, of course, herbal chemistry, which is food chemistry. Because still in the United States, remember, herbs are classified as foods, not medicinos. Dear Dr. Morris, thank you very much for your information. It's wonderful that you give your time. Oh, thanks. Who is this? Oh. Corinna? Hey, I just thought that old song. Oh, yeah. Corina. Yeah, I remember that one. My question is, I have not heard this addressed, which is the reason for this inquiry. Okay. Oh, vocal nodules. Oh, yeah. Vocal nodules, which are described as a condition caused by misuse or incorrect use of the voice. All right. You guys that have vocal cord nodules, stop talking. Stop saying you're using your voice wrong. Give me a friggin' break. You might as well have put an autoimmune condition in there just as well. I mean, give me a friggin' break. This is why allopathic physicians, you guys got to understand the lymphatic systems, because come on. Come on. You got to learn the lymph system. Whenever you have nodules, cysts, tumors, boils, pimples, styes, I don't care. It's all the same stuff, guys. It's just location. Which system are these in? The blood? Hell no, not the blood. They're not blood clots. nodule. This nodule on the vocal cord is not a blood clot sitting there. It's a lymph clot. If you had to say anything, you'd call it a lymph clot, because it's just what it is, you know. And you're not moving your lymph, you know. Where now? I'll say this about that. That's pretty good. I'll say this about that. The activity of using cells, and this I can pick a little off of what they said, because somebody I think came in and got all my tools.
She said she put it back.
Huh?
She said she put it back.
Oh, here it is. You want the Phillips or?
Phillips.
Oh,
Sorry.
Phillips. Here's Philip.
Oh, man.
We got tools. We got everything you want here. Tools,
Sure
screwdrivers,
nobody
drills.
takes off with them.
Bring it back. Remember when we talk about exercise and the increasing of tumors? It's why when you're in a goiter situation, even in a hypothyroid situation, you don't inspire the cells of that tissue to function more. You don't, when you're not filtering your kidneys and your acids are building up, you don't go start exercising and making more acidosis in the body. Not when you can't even handle the acidosis that is a natural process of just walking and living. So you can't create activity, overactivity of tissue when your lymph is involved and not expect to grow a nodule or a cyst or a tumor. See what I'm saying? Because you're increasing the activity and the function thereof of those tissues, yielding more acidosis as cell byproducts and nowhere to take them. So lymph backs up, becomes more inflamed, more immune responses to that, and of course more edema into that tissue. Of course then maybe cholesterol will come in if the cortisols are low, or maybe it'll suck calcium out of a local tissue or a cell wall or something. It'll suck it out of that, particularly connective tissue, so that you'll start to see calcifications in those areas. I mean, it's just all that stuff, because it's a war out there, guys. It's a war between the ladies and the men, the acids and the base. And the acids are the men and the base are the ladies. And so there's a real war going on out there. And if acids win, you lose. And when you start using your vocal cords, you're increasing the function of cells. And when you increase the function of cells, if you have nodules or polyps, they can get bigger. Okay, so let's back up. What do we do when we see a swelling in any area of the body? You know immediately that you have a systemic problem. The problem with medical doctors, they go right to the problem. Oh, what's wrong with this area here? That is the mind. The mind says, oh, look at this problem right here. Soul, consciousness pulls back and goes, oh, what's connecting link to that area and what is the problem? I can see all of it now because I pulled back from my mind, from thinking, and I've used my awareness to use my mind to overview. So then you can see, and that's the problem with a lot of intellectualism and intellectual sciences that have gone beyond science. Now they're beyond science, fluttering in fields of dreams, and not the kind of dreams anybody on this planet would want to have. So this is the area we've got to understand: acidosis, the lymphatic system, and what all that means, and the connection of the urinary tract system to that, the connection of the integumentary system, the skin, the whole 9 yards to that. Why? What? How's the body set up? Why? What is it? You know, cells and fluids and the processes of feeding the cell. If you look at the body, mostly it is the processes of keeping the cells healthy because they make up the structure and function of the human body. So most of the processes and the organs and glands are designed to feed and clean the cells that comprise that human body so they'll continue to function, therefore the human body can continue to function. Simplistically said and on point. That's just all it is. So when you have a manufacturing system, you've got manufacturing byproducts. Factories have it, cars have it, everybody has it. So how does your body deal with byproducts from metabolism, respiration, ionization, oxidation, the whole 9 yards? How does your body deal with acidosis predominantly? Now, I have not heard, okay, all right, vocal cord nodules. Is this instead just another example? Now, this is what I love about you guys. You know, when you get it, doesn't it help you to see these cases and understand these cases better? And you have a whole community that has set themselves up as the #1 smart people, and yet they just look stupid and stupid and stupid because they're not. You know, you got to be careful with your ego. Because just as your ego gets puffed up, people are looking at that going, yeah, look at that. You know, you got to be careful because your ego can fool you and take you into worlds of dreams of unridiculousness. Okay, so, enough said with that. Is this instead just another example of acidosis, lymph backed up by non-filtering kidneys and adrenals not working, and acid has settled in the weekend? Yeah, absolutely. And then the activity, the constant activity of the vocal cords too, you know, is going to add to more stress and more acidosis and more lymph issues. Because, you know, this is that process of feeding and cleaning, feeding and cleaning. And the process of activity yields those two needs, right? In activity, you've got to have energetics and you also have to have elimination. And I don't care what module or what athletic modality that you're involved in. It's a concept process that all life has to deal with, always. And once you understand this, like this individual, this lady here, she's got it. Bam, bam, bam. Oh, I love that. You guys are smart. Before discovering your site, our family has been trying to move to Wellville. The houses in Wellville sure look wonderful. We are working faithfully to try and obtain one in a good neighborhood. We have a lot of good neighborhoods out there, guys, so come on down. We need more of the down payment and must clear out current home eating debt, but we drive through the community daily in hopes of live there one day. Man, I love you. I love the way you see things. Exactly. We'll take a little tour through Wellville because don't go away. I'm going to be right back. Man, Karina. Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. I tell you what. That's creativity for you. You guys are so incredible. Every one of you guys are incredible beings, and you accept your divinity. Don't feel that you're inferior to anyone else ever, because you're not. None of you are inferior to another, and don't ever think that. Give yourself a good hug today and love yourself, because I see each and every one of you as beautiful beings. Beautiful, giant spiritual beings having a human experience. And it's a tough experience. So, you know, we're all here to help everybody because it is a tough experience. And it's hard to get here and it's hard to get out of here. Well, in certain ways. I have done a diet promoted by Joel Fuhrman, a vegan-type diet, and tried Gerson. All are similar, but the voice has not resolved. Man, it shows you, you know, that when you try a program, someone's program, detoxification, when you guys are learning this, has to be at the core of that. You can try different people's concepts of detoxification, but detoxification nonetheless. And so when you go through that, if you don't get a remedy, check it off your list. And I never saw Gerson have any great success. I don't care what they claim. You know, because the whole focus is wrong to me. You know, most of these focuses do not understand the lymphatic system as you guys do, and acidosis and what's going on. Now, they understand acidosis, blah, 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 and some understand the lymph system. You know, Gerson understood that. But to understand the role of the kidneys and all this tied to that, the adrenals, not so much. Because if they did, their focus would be different in the constituents they use to help people. No one gives coffee enemas like that constantly. That's wrong. You know, again, overstimulation of tissue does not make you a happy camper in the end. Let me tell you, you can't overstimulate tissue and think you're going to get somewhere with that. Health, dynamic health from a cell. That's what you're looking for. Dynamic health from every cell. That's pretty good. Excuse me. I was hoping this would resolve the issue, but it seems to have gotten worse. Yeah, you got to detox. See, these aren't detox. Even though they think they're detoxifying people, they're not. You need to detoxify. It's one thing to be raw foodist. That's cool. That's in. That's hot. That's obvious. We all know the power of that, the excitement of that. We all know that. But there's another level to this, and that is you've got to get in and fix these problems. And that takes to detoxification. That's one deeper step into the world of the raw, the world of the fruit and astringents, and the world of botanicals, in my opinion. That's why I created them. I needed tools. Raw wasn't enough. And especially with the inferior worlds of the northern hemisphere. So these, you just have to use whatever tools you can. I just turned 53 and had been told menopause could be a factor with the vocal misuse. Holy shit. And until we found your site, it all sounded plausible. Yeah, didn't it? It was prescribed to take reflux meds even though I have no reflux. I know. I tell you what, and you take reflux meds, you have to be careful because there's a lot of bad drugs that were reflux meds. And not good. Cancer causing and everything else. You got to be careful. In vocal therapy to retain vocal habits. And that's a problem. You continue to work those vocals too much, and there's going to be a problem. You want to rest them a little bit and start coughing up the mucus. You need those vocal cords to spit some of that crap out. That'll get those nodules out of there quicker. So you're looking for a cold and flu-like symptom where respiratory and sinuses and throat, everybody's involved in kicking it out. That's what cold and flus are, guys. They're just detoxification modules set up by the big one. So it doesn't matter what the trigger is. Mostly the trigger is alkaline, whether it's cold air or raw foods. But it can be anything. Stress or anything can trip the body to start cleaning itself out. And vocal therapy to retain vocal habits with surgery to follow if no resolution. Well, how the hell are you going to get resolution? You'll be for surgery for sure. I mean, come on. There is no resolution of nodules or tumors if you don't remove the cause why they are forming and that whole system they're in. If you don't focus on that, how would you expect them to go away? You don't. You'll be in surgery for sure. And it's possible. I refuse to take medication I do not need. I work with my husband in his stone and concrete floor restoration business. Holy crap, I hope you don't breathe all that phosphate and stuff, do you? All that concrete dust. I've breathed enough of that in my life. I've poured a lot of concrete myself. Not good. I mean, it's a heavy, hot job, too, especially stonework. Floor restoration business, so I have not had the time to attend. So you be careful with the chemicals you inhale, dear one. But if this is acid buildup, then that would not work either, I would think. Thank you for your time. If you answer or look at this, I'll be happy. Oh, yeah. Karina, this Karina. You're a sweetheart. Get on this, though, and get your butt detoxed and get that nodule out of there. Because remember, it isn't just here. It's all through you. That's the other thing people don't realize, that when you start to have nodules and cysts and tumors, your lymph is backing up systemically, head to toe. Hey, Dr. Morris, I have a question about eye color. How is it that many overweight and unhealthy people will still have blue eyes or show their more natural eye color? I don't get this. Can you explain, please? That's a really good question. If you look at Jensen's work, he has two ways of looking at this. Different levels of blue and gray, so to speak, and then the different colors. I'll say this, just because you're overweight doesn't mean you're unhealthy. It doesn't mean your lymph system's backed up either. I mean, it's possible, for sure, but it doesn't mean that. Eye colors are indicative of levels of weaknesses, levels of toxemia, such as as we've discussed earlier, basically the 4 stages of life, basically, or life to death, if you will. The acute stage, the stage you're creating when you're eating. Say you have a bench of cheese or a glass of milkshake, and I gave that example, how you can get a sore throat or sinus blockage from that. And of course, that's a disease, of course, and that sort of thing. And how that can start to turn the eye from blue to white. And a lot of people are in those stages. And it's true that you could have an all blue eye and probably have some chronic levels in there. It depends where these lacunas look, how deep they are, or that sort of thing. Lymphatic wise, though, if you don't have a yellowing or brown eye, then it's not so much chronic, but you can still have backed up lymph and not be chronic. You can still get tumors and cysts and not have a chronic lymph. When it's chronic, and this is the problem, when you have blue eyes and they are brown, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. This is chronic, deep levels of toxemia that you definitely got from your mom, and genetic weaknesses that stack on top of that. So, but you bring up a good point. Jensen explained this by there are blue eyes that turn different shades of blue, so to speak. I don't know. And it comes to the lymph system, for me, I see the eye change according to the degree of the lymphatic problem. And in class, we show you that movement. And we've even showed you here the difference between an acute eye, a subacute eye, a chronic eye, that sort of thing. But don't get wrong, you can get tumors from acute problems, take chemo and kill yourself. And then, of course, you've got degenerative is the last stage. So, but just because someone's overweight or something doesn't mean they're unhealthy that way. But unhealthy people always reflect it in their eyes. Now, I'll say that you can have a lot of pain in the body, and just from the weak myelin sheaths and everything of the nervous system, and not have a chronic lymph system, but be lymphatically backed up in the acute or subacute stages. So, I don't know. There are some things in iridology that you just have to go, well, interesting, and just keep observing and watching that. For me, when you see the stages coming in, the eye changes to those stages. But, I've seen a dairy farmer that have really acute stages, and he's 80-some years old, and his eye's almost all white. And at the same time, you see other people whose lymph system turns that blue eye brown, and that's more chronic. You would think that heavy, thick mucus in the body would be chronic. No, not necessarily. Just so I understand correctly, Dr. Morris doesn't have any negative precautions or warnings regarding manual lymphatic drainage. Oh, I'll give you one. Or specifically anywhere else on the body. I'll give you one for you massage therapists. One thing you want to note particularly close attention to is that's a parathyroid weakness, especially you rolfers or your deep tissue workers, and also with lymph drainage, you want to be real careful about how you deal with the body. You don't need to rough it up. And rolfers, I knew a medical doctor that was a rolfer. She had hurt you bad. The problem with this, and I told you this guys before, we had a beautiful woman. She was retired and lost her husband, and she was just a sweet thing. She worked for us, and she had breast cancer. Well, we cleaned the breast cancer right out of her. And she was, the tumors and all that, and cancer, that's a word the medical doctors like for some reason. And so she's such a lovely soul. We hired her to help us here, and she just became good friends through the years. And then she had a real tough session with a semi-rolfer. And later, she didn't show up for work the next day, and so then we sent someone over to her house, and she was dead on the bathroom floor. And my guess is a aneurysm. When you have a parathyroid weakness and your vascular walls are thin, you don't go kneading on a person heavy and hard. I can just tell you, and especially deep tissue work and rolfing, because you can pop. And that you got to be careful how you work on the human body, because you can't force lymph. And first of all, a massage therapist can't make the kidneys filter with massage therapy. Now, you might be able to definitely assist it with neurolymphatic or kinesiology work and maybe some assistance with reflexology work from the feet. But if you think you're going to massage and make your kidneys filter, I think you're mistaken. So you have to be careful, because this is a huge deal in the process of taking a human whose lymph system is backed up and getting them filtering and hydrated again. So in massage therapy, massage therapists need to learn this thing, because we used to have a massage school right beside us, beside our clinic here. And every class, she would run them in and have me talk to them. So I'd get them all in here, and I would look at them and say, well, what makes me want to use you guys? I'd freak them right out, And they just sit and look, because you've got to understand that most massage professors do not teach the reality of the lymph system. And most lymph books fall right into medical thinking, which is bullcrap. I'm telling you, it doesn't work. And to massage and to move acids toward the heart or the inferior vena cava would not be smart. So I'm not so much into lymph drainage work. I'm into neurolymphatic points and the right points, which will then trip the body to drain, not into actually aggressive manipulation of the body. Some is good, no question. I'm not being negative with massage. But I'm saying you be careful when you see a parathyroid weakness. And one of the questions, do you bruise easy? And if you're a massage therapist and you have a patient that bruises easy, be gentle, because you could get yourself in trouble. I haven't noticed anything on this topic in the videos. It's an interesting topic. I'm glad you brought it up. It would be nice if there were, because there are those who speak negative regarding manual drainage, and I would most definitely appreciate this expertise on the subject. Thanks, Dave. No, absolutely. I just think you have to be careful, and you have to consider many things. You can't just treat everybody the same. Now, with detoxification, we have a hard time treating everybody the same too, and we'd like to. But a good example was Patrick back here with interstitial cystitis and Laura. Well, you got to be gentle with these people and work them through this, because that it's gnarly having UTIs and bladder cystitis. Just bad. I mean, just not a real fun thing to go through. And then moving this out. So I think in some cases, I do believe in working the body and kneading the body somewhat, but I like points, and I like to use all these neurolymphatic points, and there's a lot of other points in the body you can use. I like using those points. I was telling you, I had a napropath. He was Dr. Jensen's first original patient, original friend. I mean, these guys were buddies. Jensen would come here to Warm Mineral Springs, which is a highly mineralized spring out of the earth. People travel from the world to come here to this. State bought it, now closed it down. It's like, what? But Jensen used to come here just for those springs and the special mangoes we have just down the way. Best mangoes in the world, I'm telling you. Huge mangoes. Unbelievable mangoes. And they get bigger. Some of the guys down there got some major mangoes. But you have to just be careful with digging in too hard on the tissues that are inflamed, that are thin. Connective tissue is thin. You have to be careful, because there's nothing gained except feeling a little better temporarily for the onset. But there are some good massages, no question. They do make you feel good and relax, and it's nice to knead. But true filtration is how you get a remedy from this. And if you do lymph drainage, massage therapists, you've got to learn kinesiology and learn the neurolymphatic points, or move everything toward the kidneys and start working on the kidney points. Inspire those kidneys to filter. And then, because hydration is essential for proper filtration as well. So this is a huge deal when you look at massage therapy on top of what you guys know. So you just have to be caution to the wind in all therapies. But keep your eyes open for bruising easy and parathyroid, because you don't want to happen to your patient, what happened to our friend Susie. Oh, what's this? Thank you so much for your work and all your sharing. Thanks. Who is this? I wonder what you think about marine plasma and the work of Renee Quinton. I never heard you mention that stuff. Maybe you haven't come across it. I'm not familiar with that. Everything in the human body responds to the condition of our extracellular fluid. Well, it does. I mean, any practitioner or anyone that understands what Renee understands here about the terrain, the interstitial fluid. I mean, they've found a lot about this. And there's some of us that have known this for so long, but no one's listening to us. But it is a big deal. It's understanding, though, what's hooked to that inner terrain, and that is the elimination factor of and how we keep that inner terrain halfway clean and moving, how you keep things in flux. Nothing should ever become static. Have you ever seen a lake where it's lost its incoming and outgoing? It just becomes stagnant. And what grows on stagnation? Fungus, palm scum, but we could wrap it up and sell it to eat. The sea aquarium or marine terrain, as Renee. Well, in a way, yes, because sodium is definitely involved. Sodium, potassium is definitely involved. I guess you could say there is somewhat of a sodium solution, but not marine life. Your interstitial fluid doesn't have the consistency of seawater. Or marine terrain, as Renee said, often referred to it. It is a microcosm of the sea itself. Well, it's a microcosm of the macro, the whole sea itself. Yep. Yeah, I understand all that. Depleted soil. Well, let me see here. I believe that he would say it was, there's two asking him, is a fruit tree to bear fruit with growing on. Well, I really think about marine plasma to any detox protocol could have tremendous benefits, and I really wonder what will be your opinion. You know what? I had her look this up, and you know what? I'll have to read it, and I'll get back with you on it. Because I just have to know more about it to give you a good opinion. Look at this. I got this from National Geographic. And it's got a new National Geographic has got a new big book out called Facts About the Bible. And this is interesting, that the Bible is the only book in the world that claims to be the Word of God. The Bible was written over a 1,600-year period by over 40 men. The time of the writing was between 1,500 years before Christ to 100 years after. Moses lived to be a total of 120 years, not 800 or 900 years. Interesting facts, isn't it? Well, you hear all kinds of things, don't you? You just hear all kinds of things. First, I want to say how much I enjoy your videos. Oh, thanks. Who's this? Oh, Jeff. Hey, Jeff. Let me see what's going on, man. I have been watching your videos and have applied some changes to my diet for around a year now. Oh, man, good work, Jeff. I started with cutting back on cooked foods and increasing my fruit intake. I have not eaten stuff like hamburgers, pies, sausage, etc. for around 18 years. Wow! That's pretty good, Jeff. More, and have always stuck with chicken, breast fillet only, and fish. I like fruit, and that's better. If someone's going to eat meat, of course, it's better to eat the lighter proteins. You can feel the differences. So, yes, definitely better to eat the lighter proteins, but they're all putefactive. They all stink. They all make you stink. They're all proteins. They all have the same problems everything else does. Is it better? You could say it's better, but we're still not above bad. And have always enjoyed eating plenty of fruit. Yeah, I have too. But I also like to eat tuna, sandwiches, and pasta, potatoes and salads, and etc. I got into tuna salad for a while too. I got into egg salad for a while, organic, non-fertile eggs, and then I got into tuna salad for a while. I've been through the gamut myself. Up, down, back, forwards, clear around, because... And I understand the David Wolfs of the world, and I understand the Harvey Diamonds, particularly the Harvey Diamonds of the world. Didn't last long with him, but that's the thing. He's got a problem that he needs the raw. God gave him this information, not so much for everybody else, and Natural Hygiene's been doing it. Did good, though, with the Fit for Life, but got it out more. But now Harvey's got a very serious issue that he needs the raw war, and I'll be interested if he goes back and remembers the importance of the raw. Hope so. He lives just right up the road here. Like so many other people, I believed I was eating good food. Well, I gradually cut out the days that I was cooking a dinner until I was down to once a week. Well, that's pretty good. Jeff, you're pretty disciplined, That's pretty good. I have done mono fruit diets, fasting in the AM and short fast for 7 days, drinking only water with juice of a lime squeezed in the glass of water. Jeff's doing, guys, just what you do. And for those of you that are not in a hurry to get well, then you can transition like this would be no problem. The faster you transition, the better. The sad thing is that we have so much emergency conditions and situations that we can't have this time to transition well. We almost are catapulted into these high raw programs. I don't know what to say about it, because it would be better to move that adaptation slower. No question, because going right into a fruit diet, somebody go, wow, bam, bam, yeah, get me here, get me here. Yeah, I know. Powerful. But with that said, some of you have got serious problems you got to fix. And so that would cause for that. But if not, transitioning is definitely better on the body. Anyway, I wonder if you could video with regards to eliminating but bowel movements and urinary, both bowel movements and urinary tract. Well, it's enough to say that you should have, I feel that if you get up there to a certain level, you should have a good bowel movement an hour after every meal. No smell, no sticky to the butt. You know, only starches make you sticky to the butt. So now you got these wet wipes and everything else you can get, because starches are glue, baby. And they stick all the way on the bowel wall and on the rectal wall as it's going out. So if you're raw and you're fruits and veggies, there's no stinky poo, there's no sticky poo, there's none of those sort of things. It's beautiful. And you have nice movements, full movements, everything feels empty, everything's good, you're good, and you feel good. Urination, same way, you know. You pee like a banshee, you know. Your flow's strong, good. Maybe a 10-yarder. I noticed about a month or so of eating mostly fruit with some salads every couple of days that I was going to urinate more frequently and with some urgency. Well, you know, what that's showing you, though, is you have urinary tract weaknesses. Because raw foods are full of water, no question. But a good healthy bladder and everything's like nothing else. Just everything's good. You shouldn't feel anything. Holding urine, it's not as minorly acidic. You shouldn't feel that at all. Everything's good. But when you feel that urgency, it is suggestive of bladder, kidney, or prostate problems, Jeff. So it might be something to look at there, you know. I guess this was something to do with my kidneys. See, you guys, I love you guys. You are the future healers of the world. You got to know that by now. And why I'm setting all you guys up. You guys are the ones. And it's not just on yourselves. By the time you get done with yourselves, you're going to be so smart how you help another soul pull their body to Wellville. That's exciting. That's exciting. Going to the movies, okay. Helping someone get from Hellville to Wellville, that's exciting. Waking up or something, but this is still the case today. Absolutely. Kidneys and adrenals. Pull your eyes and look at, never forget the iris, guys. That's your road map. What a beautiful map. You know, so the iris work. Beautiful stuff. Matter of fact, Krista showed me this, and these are smartphones become iPhones with low-cost devices developed by ophthalmologists. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Smartphones become iPhones. See? So, the world is moving. But we're going to fill in the spaces. Let me see here. I know that we're supposed to have a bowel movement a few times each day, and I am not so concerned about this, as everything seems to be moving well all right. Well, if you have one, vital. Two, better. None, no way, Jose. Okay? So that's why 5 bowel formulas. And none of them are laxatives. I don't make laxatives. That's Richard Schultz and other people. We can use their laxatives if you need it. Suggest you don't. But unless you got Crohn's or something where you have to push things through for a while. But with that said, a good example. Bowel number 1 is not to move anybody. Our stomach and bowel number 1 is a healing formula. Now, some people get a little extra nudge with it. which I don't know why. I looked at the herbs in there and I don't see it, but some people get a little extra nudge with that one. But others don't. We use that to slow up people, really. And others, you know, so everybody's uniquely different. One shoe definitely does not fit all. And so that's why 5 of them. So if you're moving every other day, every 3 days, I go into the stomach and bowel number 3. Now, I'll say this, and then going up from there. Also, the reverse can happen if you take too strong of one. You'll have a movement, but then you'll have another one that's more liquid or water. You're too strong. Got to back up. Sometimes it is better to back up a little and do a little more of that one than to go too high up on the totem pole and purge. It's not about purging. It's about normal, nice, biological movements. Let me see here. I just wonder if the sudden urgency to urinate is down to something else, side effect, and not simply my kidneys waking up, flushing. Well, it could be, and also your rectal wall could be inflamed there too, inflaming the bladder. I mean, there's a lot of things there to look at. It's enough to say, though, suggested that you have inflammation in the kidneys and bladder, or one of the two. Or 3, however you look at that, or prostate or prostate. So you want to look at that, you know, it's just, it definitely is showing acidosis and inflammation. That's what that is. Because generally you could handle it, hold it good and everything, there's no urgency, that sort of thing. You know? The urgency comes with the weakness and the inflammation. As it is now, I am unable to go far from the toilet. Oh, really bad, huh? Well, you might do a blood workup sometime, get your bun and creatinine, and also pull your PSA and take a look at that and see where you be. Get your eyes there, take a look in the bladder region, the kidney region, and the prostate region and see where you're at with that. Because that sounds to me like totally an issue here. You shouldn't be that way. And if you're that way, that tells me kidneys, prostate, or bladder. That's what we find. With regards to the bowel movement and the actual stool, could you offer some advice, information regarding the types of color, stool color, texture, etc., and also why sometimes it could float? Well, that's a good question on the floating one. I've always wondered that myself, you know, in the floaties. I don't know, to tell you the truth. Definitely involved in the chemistry of it. Well, you know, stool definitely has to have the heme in it from the red blood cells, so that gives it the brownish color. You don't want it too much like bile, though. That's the green color. And if it's white, you're in trouble. There's no bile or heme in it at all. And so heme's from hemoglobin. It's broken down by the spleen, so we use that. And so these are iron-carrying capacities here. All this stuff in the red blood cells and what it's used for and that sort of thing to carry oxygen, blah, 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 blah. But in terms of what you eat, your stool's going to be totally what you eat. And you should smell like what you eat. Like I said, the colors are there depending on that. White stools, of course, definitely hepatic gallbladder, liver, big problems. So normal brown stools, you're going to see some texture changes. Of course, if you have drug deposits, you have sulfur, your stool's going to look orange. You know, so there's going to be some chemistry coming out now. You're going to see some black. If there's 99% of you guys are going to see some black stools at times. And this black is either mucoid plaque or black coming out of the liver. There is black sludge that gets into the liver. And so that can come out and turn your stool black. You can see some weird stuff. Some lady was just telling me something weird came out over there. They would look like an alien. So who knows what's been accumulated or packed in bowel pockets, diverticulums, or whatever. You never know what you got stored in there, baby. Also, why sometimes it could... I don't know why floating and not floating. No, I don't know. Maybe one of you guys know better. Maybe a lab can tell us. And yes, does it stink? Or not stink. I'm glad I haven't eaten yet. Oh, some fruit this morning. Thank you in advance. We got golden mangoes now from the tropics, and boy, even though they're not like it would be there in the tropics, it was like a breath of fresh air, a long winter without mangoes. Oh my God. And then they got some peaches, and I'm going, oh, these are ripe. Yeah. Right, they've been fermenting for about 5-6 months. They were horrible. I'll never buy another peach again, you know. This is what they're creating out there. Florida, the University of Florida is creating Asian fruit, peach and apple trees to grow in Florida, so we can have peach and apple crops in Florida. I've got several trees of each one myself. Had some peaches already on my peach trees. Thank you in advance. Oh no, thank you, Jeff, for the questions. A little crappy questions, but that sort of thing, you know. Hi, Dr. Morris, your 11 was, oh, thanks, I appreciate that. Oh, this is Eileen. I have a 59-year-old client who's been 80% raw for 2 years. That's pretty darn good, though. When you're 60 years old and you go raw for almost 80% raw for 2 years, that's pretty good. I mean, if we could get most people on the planet to get there, would that be exciting? Just to get most people right there would change the nature of everything just right there. She has red eyes. Okay, so red eyes, that means she's inflamed everywhere. When your sclera, your white portion, all those blood vessels are red, you're inflamed. Didn't I tie one on? Oh, you tied one on last night, didn't you? No, you have systemic acidosis. That's it. Now she has floaters, all right, and she has cataracts, okay? So cataracts are cholesterol. Floaters can be the mucus from the lymph and the fluid. You can get extra mucus floating around in the fluid just like you can, in the eye fluid just like you can in the urine. Detox. I would use the eye wash topically and internally. Start moving blood and lymph more aggressively. Got to detox the head, because when you see cataracts, you know they're cholesterol. What are the eyes located in? The brain, the head. So you know that she's got cholesterol plaquing in the head. You don't just get it in the eyes. You get it in the brain as well. So this is a problem. This is a stroke coming. And this is an Alzheimer's dementia patient coming or getting there. So we've got to back them away from that. Upper circ, brain and nerve. Start pulling on that lymph system and get the cholesterol doesn't come out. Some will come out in the blood, granted, but most will come out in the lymph. And that's what you want to move. And that's the lipid system, is the lymph. And you want to get those lymph nodes opened up and get the kidneys filtering and move this lymph, because she's got a long way down to go. We know what to do about these problems, but she also has had a thyrocolossal duct cyst for about 7 months. All right. So, would there be a relationship between the cysts, the ductal cysts, and the cataract? Okay, which system? The lymph system. I mean, it sounds redundancy. But think about it. There's only two major fluids of the human body. Redundancy. Absolutely. Where are you going to go? The blood? Is this ductal clot a blood clot? No! It's lymph. And it just shows it ties into the floaters, it ties into the red eyes, it ties into the cataracts, right? This is acidosis, high inflammation, and the eyes are the window of the internal condition of the body. So all those blood vessels in the sclera relate to all parts of the body. Sclerology. And let me show you some blood vessels in the eyes, like this. Sclerology. Another little science you can put in with iridology, but you know what? You can get too much, too much involvement. And as practitioners, you can only do so much. You got essential oils, you've got flower essences. Never forget your flower essences if your clients are emotionally or have mental issues because of all the pharmaceuticals and the pathway the medical sent them, because you can take a good person that has heavy lymphatic problems, and by the time the AMA is done with them, they're in a highly depressed mood. And you can take someone who has a little parathyroid weakness, they're committing suicide just on pharmaceuticals. So it's just a mess out there. I suggested the Fab Four, upper circ, oh, you're good, and some oh, you're really good. Stomach and bowel, yeah. Kidneys, adrenals. Hit that lymph system too. So you're going right down the road. I would probably be a lot more aggressive after she's done with the Fab Four. If she's got the affordability, honk on, baby, honk on. And I would get into the kidneys, the lymph, get her filtering because she's got to drain. Either that or, sweat. And that still won't be enough. You got to get her kidneys draining. So all these lymph nodes, you can use these neurolymphatic points front and back. That'll start opening some pathways here. You could candle the ears, 3 or 4 candles per ear to try to open things up. I know what to say about cysts. However, I have read where the location of this particular cyst being above the thyroid might affect breathing and swallowing. I mean, it's all nasty, guys. It's all nasty. And it's like, it doesn't matter. You got to get it out. Because if you can't get it out this way, it's either surgery or death. She did mention where it hasn't affected the function of the thyroid, however. I am concerned about the detox process of suggesting glandulars may do that. I wouldn't do the glandulars except the adrenal glandulars. I wouldn't touch the thyroid. I wouldn't touch the pituitary. I wouldn't touch any of the glands right now because you want to get this cyst out of there. And it's just the lymph system. And you can tell with the floaters and, like I said, in the cataracts and stuff. So she's highly acidic. You got to detox her. I wouldn't be scared of the detox. But you want to hit that. So what I would do with this, if you're fearful with this, do this. 1 lymphatic formula and make it a capsule. All right? Lymphatic 1, capsule, 2-3 times a day. Then I would do 2 kidney formulas and maybe even a kidney glandular with an adrenal glandular. Don't pull too hard on the lymph system, just so if you're worried about it swelling the cysts. And start pulling and cleaning. Your concept with stomach and bowel and cleaning the gut up was right on. Add the GI broom. Start cleaning aggressively down in these areas so this has a way to drain, and you'll get her. And you'll get her okay there. I also suggested to try and switch to mostly all fruits and getting some eye pictures up on Facebook. Well, I think you're exactly right on point, and I think if this lady who's worried about swallowing and all that other stuff, and it can affect that, by all means, go on some grape fasts or water fasts or something. Now, again, cleaning her up a little bit, getting the kidneys filtering would be key first. Really it makes for a better. But when you're in emergencies, you do what you do. But you have to see with that. But I wouldn't let that stop me because you got to detox her no matter what. And she's going to have a problem no matter what. So she might as well roll up her sleeves and jump right into this and get this going, because it's the other side of it that's if she doesn't do it, what happens to her, right? Big hugs and to you guys too, Eileen. Thank you so much, all of you Facebook beauties. You guys are helping so many people. You notice our field is so good. We're making jobs for more people. And the jobs we're doing are helping others. It's loving. I think you all are just doing I'm proud as a peacock. You guys are just doing so good. Yeah, greetings to you, my friend. I first want to thank you for your time, assistance with helping myself and everyone. You're welcome. Listen, thank you all for taking this on and going. This is all us together, all right? The information and insight you're provided is great. Oh, thanks. My question is in regards to Ekankar. Oh, wow. God. You have mentioned it quite often and your affiliation with Paul Twitchell. I have done some research as well as read The Tiger's Fang. Pretty interesting book, isn't it? Upon further review, it seems to be unanimous that Paul Twitchell, in fact, copied most of his works and was found to be fraudulent. Nah, that's all out there, guys. I have so much work from back then. The Christian community came after us really hard back then, in all ways. And you can do your research, but Paul Twitchell's like everyone else. He went through different people. He learned different things. He went to the Singh group, but then it was Kirpal Singh. Kirpal Singh claimed to be his master. But Paul Twitchell used Kirpal Singh like I use Paul Twitchell. It's not about the master being the one. It's about what the master can do for you. It's not about their world. It's about your world. Paul Twitchell wasn't fraudulent at all. I've been traveling with Paul Twitchell, Pet Arzask now, in the inner worlds. And there's nothing fraudulent about this guy. I can tell you, if anybody fraudulent, it's to the current Eckmaster. But not Paul Twitchell, he was an out-of-body traveler, but he grew, he was awakened after he learned about the soul plane, Sat Nam. Since we're talking about this, sorry for you guys that about the spiritual type, but Sat Nam is the first time God in it can form at the soul plane, yes. 10 minutes.
Okay.
10 minutes. Tell her she can just wait 10 minutes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right. Sat Nam is the being, the fabricated being that you can see while you still have the physical body, and it's set up so you can not freak out without total formlessness. But that's the soul plane. That is the world of complete formlessness. This is the world where there is no separation at all. It is the first world of pure consciousness, where all our consciousness become one. We're still individual, but we're the individual. Your individuality, my individuality, everyone's individuality becomes one. That's when you start to realize that God is one. That's when you start to realize the infiniteness, or what the Bible says about omnipresence, omnipotence, and omniscience. You start seeing those factors in that. And Paul Twitchell went through different spiritual beings to wake up, just like you would or I would. Then the Eckmasters came because he went beyond Sat Nam. The Eckmasters came to him and took him beyond the Radhaswami group. And so he left that teaching because the Eckmasters replaced that in a higher level because that was their job. Their job, Paul Twitchell's job, was to bring out Eckankar at this time. And if you did your research, you'll find Eckankar mentioned in old Sanskrit writings. The Om is all through India, but the Hu is even deeper. So you'll find, if you do your research, you will find that. Paul Twitchell wasn't front of. That's the crap, that's the propaganda out there. Like you see so much of that crap in the health side. Ride with Paul Twitchell. All these other masters have never taken you out of your body. Paul Twitchell could take you out of your body. I studied with Kirpal Singh for a while. I did too. I looked at their teachings, but I didn't root and say, he created me. No, because they don't. I'm very aware of the Radhaswami group. And there's a lot of good rock and rollers, and I won't mention any names, are in that group. And it's the only group I'm in totally harmony with because they're from the soul plane. And even Kirpal Singh, and now I met Darshan Singh personally. These masters or beings recognize Sat Nam and other worlds beyond that, but not like the Eckmasters do. They are the beings beyond belief. And then there's the 9 silent ones. There's all kinds of beings out there. But from my experience, Paul Twitchell, real deal by far. You know, you have your charlatans out there that claim and make all these claims. But I'm telling you, he's the real deal. And he will travel with you. He out-of-body traveled at age 3. And of course we're going to go through first grade, second grade, third grade. And how fast do you go through it to the next level? Or do you stay at that level? If Paul Twitchell would have stayed at that level, the world would not be the same right now, guys, because of the teachings he brought out and then Darwin brought out the now. And it was perfect shoe-in for bilocation and creation, learning that you're more than the physical body and that you can travel through these worlds by moving your attention around. And then Darwin brought the fact out, who has the attention? The self. The you, the real you, the I am that I am. And so that is you. And so it's just higher. I'm cutting through all this crap. And my expertise was sent here because I cut through intellectualism. I cut through, the complex to bring the simplistic. And the same thing spiritually. And it doesn't matter who founded what or who did what, because it isn't them. They're just beings like you and me that discovered these different levels of God. This is about God, not about spiritual masters and things. But you want a good master if you're using a master, because if not, they'll control you. They own you. And so, yes, Paul Twitchell had his failings, but not too much. His things was the master being the sinner. I don't use that thinking. I don't use any thinking that these other teachings have, including the Radhaswami, because you are the God, and you've got to get that. The masters, a good, true spiritual master, you will not know their presence, or not much, because it isn't about them. It's about you and God. And that's a true master. And so I don't know what to say, but I disagree with you wholeheartedly here, man. I spent 30 years in Eckankar. Knew it quite well, my friend. And the masters as well. In fact, copied most of his works. And was now, if you read Eckankar, you won't find the copied works. I mean, all Satnam is there, but you'll find the difference in the levels of the higher worlds are much different, and you'll find that the lower, everybody's mapped out the lower worlds at one level or another. So it's just putting the maps together. These are just maps, guys. And it's just what is. One guy can go to New York City as well as 100 guys can go to New York City. One of you can travel out of body to your mental body as everybody can. You see what I'm saying? So you're making something that's not true here. I do not say this is slander, but this is based upon the information I found, wrong information. I wanted your take on this. Again, thank you for your time. By the way, I could not do 100% raw vegan. I have remained vegan and have eliminated soy and wheat from my diet. Well, you know, man, that's the best. Still, whatever you can eliminate, and this is what we're saying, if you have to go in steps, you go in steps, who cares? But the fact is, you're moving toward Wellville and toward God consciousness if you want. I mean, these are all available, you know, because you're always going to see all these levels of school. Everything's just levels. Everything's just levels. Levels of awareness, and that's obvious. Look around you. You see all levels of awareness. And these are called in spirituality states of consciousness, because consciousness is the reality of all things. In physics, quantum physics, we call it energy and intelligence. Good stuff, though. But no. Paul Twitchell, no we. But you know, everybody goes to 12th grade or high school and goes through all these grades, and there are different masters that have discovered different levels. The Radhaswami is an incredible group. I love that group. They've had their problems, you know, they've had their little wars between each other, as spiritual beings do, like everybody else, you know. So you have the old people saying that, or the new Singh group and stuff are saying in the Radhaswami that Kirpal Singh was a charlatan. He was wrong. So you have those kind of wars even within their own religions. It's like, you guys get out of your minds. Quit blaming everybody for everything and realize that everyone brings out information that they discover. It's what do you do with that information? And I got to go in just 2 seconds. Maybe I can read one more. We all know you're 64. Oh! Who said that? Sir Culture. I was lying. I'm 164. I'm not trying to be petty, but he keeps saying that he can cure anything. If that is so, then how come he is wearing eyeglasses? Good question. I should get rid of them, shouldn't I? Could, if I wanted to, I guess. Just need to sit and focus on myself a little bit, I guess. I'm having a hard time focusing on myself right now for some reason. I don't know why that is. I'm just so daggum busy. It just, you know. I got real radiation burns, though. But you know what? You can fix them, no question. These are my readers. Didn't used to ever need readers. And I really don't need them now. I can read this. But it just helps me to move on quicker. I have a ton of questions being new to detoxing. Ooh, but I don't have the time. I'm going to save this one. Matter of fact, I've got to go. So what I'm going to do is, hey, Sarah Green. Thank you, sweetheart. I'm writing you, what's this? I'm writing you about my friend Randy. He's a sweet and delicate soul in need of some healing. He's recovering from addiction. Yeah, you know, these are, you know, you go get mad at addicts. These are spiritual souls. You know, they used to say that an alcoholic is 9 times out of 10 a spiritual soul that's lost. Just needs the self. Needs to connect the self and love the self. And that's true. You know, just because you're an alcoholic or you use drugs or whatever you use for an altered state of consciousness, that doesn't mean you're bad. You're looking for the altered state of consciousness. You're not happy in the current state of consciousness. Change it. Don't use external stimuli to change your consciousness. Stop thinking. Get out of your mind, get out of your emotions, and be in the eternal now. Then you don't have any ideologies or attitudes or opinions or anything in the now. It just is. And so you love yourself more. You're more yourself in the now than you are in any other situation, because that's where you live in consciousness. There is no time in consciousness. And so that's why getting there. So these poor souls, they need help. And so we in America, we're cold. We don't have love here in America. We lock them up. We throw them in jail. What I noticed that, I think it was France, or definitely it was Portugal, they use their state parks, they use their parks to help the addicts and stuff. There's a difference between the love in Europe amongst each other, and Americans are cold, man. So we got to all get warm here in America, and we are. You guys are, the Americans in this YouTube site are a big part of this, because we've just gotten materialistic and cold here. We sell our mother for a buck. I mean, that's what's going on out there. I mean, look at the... He's in a program and he is doing quite well, but is having to deal with the repercussions of his choices. Job loss, relationship, yeah. Well, you know, we all seek freedom. We're all looking for freedom. We don't know. We're lost. And that's why I want to give strength and power to the individual again. Let's get our joy back. Let's get our happiness back. Who cares what happens outside of us? We dictate our own way, our own world, our own consciousness. In doing that, you'll see where you go, and it's incredible. The issues I'm bringing to you forefront, though, is, oh my God, Orgarius, which he has. He has dealt with this a whole life, and because of his insecurity, he's such a bright, funny, intelligent person. I know he knows it, but his insecurities take over. Along with the disease, he battles depression and lack of motivation. Well, here's a guy that's got weak adrenals and probably a down parathyroid, no question with that. Can Vulgarius be healed using your protocol? Well, absolutely. But think about why, though. You know, I mean, the question is, can your system help people? But think that out. Think out what the symptomology is on any condition that you're asking me about. What is it smack like? We've looked at chemistry. We've exposed the two sides of chemistry, the nature, predominant nature of the two sides of chemistry. We've exposed the tissues of the body and what's there, the cells and the two fluids. So we've exposed all this. We know that acids inflame. We know acids suck calcium out. We know acids create calcifications with that. We know acids are met by lipids. Call them cholesterol, if you will. We know how the body responds to these. So we know all tissues are fair game, whether it's vocal cords or whether it's the kidneys or whatever. It doesn't matter. So we know all things are tied to either the kitchen, the blood, or the lymph, because everybody else's cells. And there's the genetic thinking. Did you see Cosmos? Anybody watching Cosmos? Did you see that last one that where those little like those little round things with the leg? I mean, when you look at how can you not be a lover of a creator that creates a world so small and yet so it's just so large and yet so small. Let me see what else. I got to hurry here. I'm running late. In his hand. Let me see. I don't know much about it, but it causes dry, scaly skin and also on the hands. But, you know, this is all dehydration. Because saying this is all dehydration and acidosis. Whether you see dry skin, scaly skin, you see eczema, psoriasis, it does not matter. All different levels of these conditions. I might add his Filipino and loves meat. Well, the Philippines have some awful good fruit. Get away from the meat, get back on the fruit. I told him it's about fruits, berries, and melons, herbs, and getting in touch with God. Yes, Sarah agreed. What's neat about you is the men in my life that I care so much about can hear it from another man. Fruits, berries, and melons, raw veggies is a hard sell to macho men coming from a lady. Well, you men, you got to get with the ladies, because the ladies has a lot of answers for the men. And man always has to have some nice ladies. So a macho man, you got to listen to the ladies. But a macho man, if you don't get a hell of this in time, you won't be a macho man. You know, it'll chew you up. And you want to be good, strong male, then you have to fix the kidneys and the lymph, because Mr. Prostate is there, and the testes, and you can lose testosterone, and you lose your maleness, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. So, anyway, we got a few things covered. I love you all anyway. Even though I'm not perfect, we're all not perfect, we're all what we are, we're living, but we all still are good healers. So I love you guys. Till we meet again. Could be in the dream state. Watch your inner awareness. Listen within. So, got something for you. I want to start a little like contemplation type thing. What do you think? So, for the next, let's say for the next week, I want to see if you guys can spend 1 week or 2 totally desireless. For the next week to 2 weeks, I want to see if you guys can live totally without desire. Don't care about nothing. You don't want anything. You just live. Let life move. If you step back, life will move you right through it without you doing or saying a thing. Now you have to act, you have to respond, you have to cook, you have or whatever. You got to eat, you got to do whatever. You got to dress yourself. But spend 1 week to 2 weeks. And don't want anything. Just don't want anything. Just live life and go and act. Because after that, we're going to spend another couple of weeks without thought. And I'm going to keep giving you spiritual exercises, how to have out-of-body experiences. So here's one for you on an out-of-body experience. I want you to get and lay down in the bed and just relax. And I mean super relax. And I mean start relaxing your toes. Start relaxing your feet. Start relaxing your legs, your hips. Start relaxing your shoulders. Start relaxing yourself deeper and deeper. And as you fall into this deep relaxing, just don't think. Just let everything go. Don't try to have an out-of-body experience. Just observe. Just relax and be aware. Just relax more and more and more and fall deeper into that zone of relaxation. At a point where you feel like you're totally relaxed, just put your attention on whatever you want to know or wherever you want to be. Just totally relax and pull yourself there by your attention only. Just look at where you want to be. Another way you can work with this is totally relax in that same scenario and pull yourself through your ceiling and out and the top of your house and look back down at your house from above your house. But you have to do it in a totally relaxed manner. If you feel yourself getting tight, relax again and totally just fall into that. You're not trying to create a situation, you're trying to uncreate. You're trying to get into total consciousness, and that is just total beingness. And so use these experiences to try to have some out-of-body experiences and have some fun with this, and a whole week of the desireless state. Don't want anything. You don't need anything right now. You're moving your bodies toward health. Everything's good. Just relax. I love you guys. And until the next time, we'll see you again. Maybe glasses free. Well, hello again. It looks like we can keep on going. Looks like today is opened up for me. So guess what? We get to have some more fun together. Now, there's a lot of MS going around. Now, we're using a medical term for a neurological condition, right? So, Diane and all you guys fighting MS, you've got to attempt to get up to absolutely 100% raw. Absolutely. Then absolutely need to work to 100% fruits, berries, and melons. No vegetables at all. You might slide by with some green drinks, but especially those MS cases that are now moving toward the chair or in the chair. You don't have time to play around with vegetables as acids continue to create bigger brain lesions, deeper lesions, things like this. So, my experience with MS is extensive, and I can just tell you that 100% fruit, berries, and melons is your goal. They are the only foods high enough energetically and chemically to deal with this, and they're the detoxifiers. Why the detoxifiers in a neurological condition? What's going on? The exact same thing that's going on in all these cases. Location, 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 genetic weaknesses, all these things come in to determine what levels. Could be a lot more to that. Matter of fact, I'm going to read one that I just picked up and kind of half read at first, and I think she's got some beautiful question I've been waiting for someone to ask. So with MS, you know, the first thing foremost, you must get your kidneys filtering. This is our experience, and I think you guys are strong enough now, and we have enough evidence to show that if we don't filter, tumors and cysts and boils and polyps and things will only grow. No matter what you do, no matter what treatment plan you use, no matter what you do, they're going to continue to grow. So you must get your kidneys and adrenals. Well, the adrenal glands are a huge part of all neurological conditions. MS, Lou Gehrig's, ALS in other words, Parkinson's. The kidneys are always, and the adrenals, always a key role, both for lymphatic reasons and neurotransmitters affecting the autonomic nervous system. Remember, the parasympathetic side comes into the back of the brain. Let me tell you, the cerebellum is always involved in MS. Why? That's your vertigo. That's your autonomic input or output. It is the center of equilibrium and dizziness, and a whole bunch of other things. So, brain lesions. This comes about from which side of chemistry? You could actually ask this question in every question that you ask. What side of chemistry could be causing this? Because all life swims and breathes in chemistry. This world is stacked full of chemistry. The air only looks void. So things are full of chemistry. So chemistry is always the cause. Always the cause. Right? Chemistry out of harmony. Chemistry out of balance. Right? Accumulation of specific chemistries. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, what's interesting, Diane, I saw your hair analysis, or I think it was hair. Arsenic is high. Arsenic is a neurotoxin. And arsenic can be a latch to the nerve endings, latch to the nervous system, be neurotoxic, shut down the adrenals, affect the brain. I don't know what tissue arsenic is specific for. Mercury and aluminum, of course, love to go upstairs. Different copper loves the kidneys. There's just certain metals that love certain tissues, a magnetic affiliation. And so I don't know about arsenic other than it's a neurotoxin, so it's going to go to brain or autonomic. And the only way you're going to find remedy with these neurotoxins, and ones that hair analysis and things like this won't show because they're not extensive enough. You know, you have to go to a toxicologist. But even if you did and you discovered you had several, like this one poor soul girl, she fought, her and her friends chased pesticide trucks while they were spraying. So, I mean, this one client we have, she's so neurotoxic, it's a slow go. So, this is very problematic. Remember, there's over 2,000 neurotoxins on this planet, if maybe even double that. So it's enough to say that man just has no consciousness. Humans at this level, just that consciousness, you guys, we have to help mature this up a little bit. So your only recourse is detoxification. Why? Because that's how you reach in, you hydrate, you remove acidosis, you remove that which breaks down tissue, and you bring in a hydrated, more base balance where metabolism improves, respiration improves, elimination improves. And you're also thinking about digestion, absorption, utilization, and elimination in all those ways. Because all these connecting links of your body is how you walk yourself, your physical body, to well-being. And you've got to do it. Or you can suffer. But, you know, neurologically suffering is just not in the game plan for me. Get out of those chairs and quit procrastinating. There's a couple of you guys, you know who I'm talking about. Yes. get on those fruits and get out of those chairs. There's not if you can, it's when can you. And the longer you wait, the more deterioration happens in your body. You know, your body doesn't just stay the same. Notice, you go in MS from at least mobility to immobility. Things continue to get worse. And if I could show you some pictures of some advanced cases I've had, prone stiff, thin as a penny, and hard as a rock. All acidosis, malabsorption, all of that coming from lymph stagnation and the deterioration of the human body. And you can stop that. I don't care what anybody says, you can stop that. We've stopped that. You guys are stopping that on Facebook. You guys are kicking butt on Facebook. And you know how to do it. It's just the individual. You, the one with MS, you're the one that has to ride this ride. Now, sometimes you get ratted out. When you get neurological conditions, you got a parathyroid hitting you, you got an adrenal hitting you, you're going to get ratted out emotionally and mentally. You're going to have depression, you're going to have all these things. So for depression, you go into the parathyroid. For anxieties and emotions, you go into the adrenals. Very much a part of MS. Now, use flower essences to support your emotions and keep you happy. And dig in. I don't care what condition. If you're blind from it, get it back. I am an adamant about cell regeneration as anything else because we've seen nothing but, and that's always been my goal. That's always been, why wouldn't you have cell regeneration? You cut yourself, it heals, right? The degree that heals or doesn't heal, the time it takes to heal or not heal, depends how acidic you are. And go back to Arnold Ehret's books and let him talk about this. I discovered that. Some of you guys have already told me you've discovered that when you get cut or tear at these high fruit levels, there's no pain, there's no bleeding. Healing is within a day or two. And I mean, it's the acceleration of healing. What does that tell you? That's what turned me on to healing, was how fast I saw my body recoup from knife cuts from cutting so many oranges. I didn't have a juicer living in a van. I didn't even have power. So I didn't juice anything. I ate. And I used to cut myself all the time. It's an incredible journey of wellness. And when you see how rapid your body can repair itself in an alkaline balance, it's amazing. So it's well worth putting your heels in and going after this. It's just real important. Because if you love living in a chair and all that implies, and you guys in chairs, maybe some people out there don't know what it's like to live in chairs, but it ain't good. It ain't good. You guys keep it down in the next room. Just a horrible way to live. Hi, Dr. Morris. My name is Jane. I love how you spell it. Jane, and I am a 56-year-old woman who is ready to get healthy. Yeah. I love that woman. I have a that's interesting. Listen to this. I have a mast cell condition where my mast cells don't mature like your mast cells do, and I get new ones every day, and they enlarge my liver, spleen, and mess with my bone marrow. Boy, I'd really like to see that. The doctors push medicines and I feel much worse. My mast cell condition has progressed and now it is getting scary as the doctors will then push really dangerous chemo drugs. I have also had parathyroid surgery in the past and that seems to be doing fine. I wonder what kind. Did you have them removed, tumor put off of them? As long as you still have one or so, you need those parathyroids for calcium utilization. But wonder if this was the start of the mast cell mutation. Could have been, who knows? But I still say, when you're looking at mutation of cells, what side of chemistry are you generally going to go in? Because there's no doubt that there's alkalosis. That means too alkaline. But in our experience, it's rare. It's acidosis. ketosis. Those are where man lives mostly. And so even if you treated it like alkalosis, you're going to use the same foods, the same herbs, the same thing. And that will bring chemistry into some degree of a homeostatic condition, if there is such a thing, where chemistry is always the same. Never is that, but some degree of balance within that. So when you see the mutation of any cell pattern, acids are generally always responsible for that. And where do we see that system involvement? And that's the lymph system. That's why you might see these tissues doing what they're doing. Love to see a picture of your eyes and stuff and see where that is. I know if I listen to the doctors, I will be dead in no time. And I'm reaching out to you, Dr. Morris, to take me under your wing. No problem, sweetheart. You also have a nice Facebook site, and you got a lot of those. You got a lot of great beings out here helping you. Our clinic is always here. I want to work as a worldwide team because there's just too many people, and they all need help. At least the majority of people do. And so we've got some good answers, and we will always get more as we grow, you know. But we've got enough to help people get to well, Bill, from almost any condition out there. Life has been full of several health issues in the medical field. Don't improve the quality of my life whatsoever. I know that I can live the next 50 years. I can tell you what, just from your comments to me and the stacks I have over here, the medical doctors would never want to pull this into court. Would not be too nice on them. There's so much stuff in just what you guys experienced alone to make chills go up and down one's spine. I was just sitting with Marcy. We were talking about a couple of cases, and it's like, holy crap. This one guy, they've augmented his bowels, rerouted them, played with them, turned around. I mean, Jesus criminy. Oh my God. Talk about mutation. Oh my God. So, it's no problem. I mean, we're here to help, so you never have to worry about that. As long as we're walking, we're helping, right? I know I can live the next 50 years happy and healthy with your help. Absolutely, sweetheart, but I'm going to need your help too. I need your help in the fact of doing this, and it sounds like you really wanted to. I started this detox, but I'm having bad kidney pain. Aha! See, so that's it. So, now, back up on the lymphatics and maybe increase the kidneys. You might want to increase the kidney formulas to about a dropper full every 3 hours and decrease the lymphatic formulas. But I'll be honest with you, you're probably picking up on a very, very weak kidney or a very acidic, decaying kidney. So, that stomach tea, perfect. Heal all tea, perfect. Run these teas through your system. If you're going to drink water, drink the tea. Run those teas through your kidneys and bladder, and they will heal, soothe, coat, and reduce the decay because they neutralize acids. So that would be vital in your case. But that tells you when you start detoxing and you start feeling your kidneys, you're in trouble in that kidney. Whenever you feel pain anywhere in detox, that's where you're in trouble. And you can take the iris and you can look at the iris of the patient or the person, and you can then see exactly why they feel that pain, because you don't feel pain where you don't have a problem. Listen to this. I have wonderful kids that I raised myself and a wonderful grandbaby that lives with me. Well, this is a hell of a woman. I started this detox, but I'm not having kidney pain. It has only been less than a week, and I feel kind of better and weird all at the same time. You will feel a little weird. I mean, it's just, yeah, shaking, rocking, and rolling. And you don't know, you have to understand also, guys, and you Facebook people too, realize that this is such a chemicalized world right now. The people can breathe in or put chemicals on the skin or absorb them through the air on the skin into the body. So you don't know when you're facing an individual to work with, you don't know what type of chemistry above cellular wastes that are saturated that body. Pharmaceuticals, all these things. You notice most pharmaceuticals end up being bad drugs. So it's just, it's horrible what can be in people. And you just have to, for you guys detoxing, whatever it takes, whatever it takes. The nice thing is that these foods have chemistries that buffer. And so there's a lot of buffers in the greens and also in the fruits, the darker ones in particular. The time is now for me to take control of my life? Yes. Unfortunately, I can't do this alone, and this makes me reach out to you. We'll be glad to help you, sweetheart. It's why these videos, doctors are killing me slowly. I know that life is wonderful, and I want to be a part of the wonder. Now, this is a nice spiritual lady, and of course we're going to help her. I grew up in Coney Island, was born in 1957, and I think that my problem started with birth and now. But remember, oh yeah, absolutely, remember who you stay in for about 9 months. So, yeah, you'll be fine, Jane. I think the real key, again, going back to mutation of cells, is get into this higher consciousness of the foods and the herbs, because that changes the decay and decline of genetics in cells. Cells naturally mutate off its consciousness. That's how the fertilized egg starts. That's how it all starts. And everything is with the consciousness, everything is within the cell. So how it moves, how it breathes, that's all consciousness. That's driven from the mental worlds. And so that's all another level. And so that's what we're doing. Some of this is much deeper than individuals realize. Some of it's not important to discuss for those that don't want to go deep, because it's okay. I like to keep things simple, but I also like the complex. It's ridiculous that I'm trying to keep this simple so everybody sees the simplicity of it all. But I enjoy the complexities of things, but I always have to keep it simple, because if I get caught in the complexities of it, I lose my way. I get off my now game, and then suddenly I'm lost in a world. And I keep developing the ability to use the mind, but be away from the mind. You know what I mean? Send it on its journey. And it just takes practice to work on these things. And we can all work on the same things, the ability of you to stay conscious and the mind do its thing separate from that wild stuff, because it needs your consciousness to work. So how do you feed your mind consciousness but retain your awareness and not be trapped in thought awareness, so to speak? Interesting. From Alex. Hey, my Dot. Hey, my friend. How are you, man? Sorry about my English. You have no bad English here, man. What is the relation between the body and the mind? Ooh, how I love that one. Is it possible to progress spiritually when our body is constipated? Absolutely. I mean, there's no question that... That's pretty. There's no question that a painful body and a body riddled with acidosis and meat eaters and all this, they're still souls. And everyone is a soul. So no matter how the body suffer, nothing can hurt you or affect you. But you've got to get back home, basically, to your consciousness and separate yourself from your bodies. Not always easy, didn't say it was, but it is. The process is easy, but you run up against the fact that the mind is used to the control. So consciousness is used to using the mind to be conscious instead of being conscious itself. So soul has to learn how to be conscious and drive the bodies without losing itself. That's how you gain your freedom back and God consciousness back, and still operate a body in creation. Or you could do like some of these gurus in India where they lay down their body and expect their chelas to clean them while they're out playing. No. But anyway, let me go on, because this is a good question, because don't let your pain stop you from nirvana or for enjoying the higher aspects of God. And bringing in the God force will help to ease the pain, by the way, and help to regenerate the body as well. So you don't want to let mind, emotions, or the physical body stop your spirituality. But it will. It will. You must be strong, or it will. It'll dominate. Your emotions will dominate. Your depressions will dominate. All these factors will dominate until you learn how to be outside of that. Remember that old saying, talk to the hand, the face is not listening. So you can listen and you can hear and you can see, but your response. You can't lose your center in response. It's hard to explain. So you just keep working on the now type of syndrome, even in pain or whatever. You want that extra God force moving through you to help you move your lymph, to help you. It's about energy at one level. You know, we can talk chemistry all day long, but in reality, this plane is chemistry, but driven by magnetics, driven by frequencies of energy, driven by consciousness. What is the relationship between the body and the mind? Well, if you look at it back asswards, hey, honey, are you there?
Yeah, I am.
Could you bring me in one of my school books? They're over by Shannon's desk.
Your school books?
Yeah, one of the school books, class books. Thanks, honey. I'll show you here in a minute. Sometimes I feel a loot of energy vibrating in my body, but then my heart rate start to increase, so I decided to settle down because I wonder if this is good for the body to be so much energy. Well, that's a good point. You bring in some good points here, Alex, and that is, yeah, you know, I'm young, I'm going after it, give me the energy, I'll take it. Then I go, whoa, just kidding, because you're going to get what you asked for. Oh, I need to back up a little bit here. Yeah, that sort of thing. Absolutely. Too much energy can unstabilize yourself because everything must be done in what we refer to as balance. Yes, dear. Thank you. Mucho glass.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is what we teach you in class, but this I'll show you if you can see this at all from the camera. At the very top, you see the soul plane. And someone earlier asked me about Eckankar and then talked about Paul Twitchell. This soul plane here, the one in yellow, that's where you, as an individual aspect of God, even though totally consciousness, that's the last area of consciousness before consciousness slides into duality, slides down into creation as you look into creation or as it looks into itself, and then your duality starts. The next level is the etheric, which is your subconscious, which is the id, as Carl Jung's wife said, or the etheric plane. Then you have the mental plane, which is the blue, that's universal mind. Holmes wrote a lot about the universal mind, and you can experience that. That's cosmic consciousness, Christ consciousness. Then you have the causal, the Akashic records. That's where you really see the manifestation of duality, and that's where your physical body takes its first form in an etheric level. That's where the blueprints are held in forms. Outside of the causal into the pure mind, no form no more. You're formless. You know, your pure mind. And that is another level. The causal worlds, of course, is where you have cause and effect. Past, present, and future. Matter, energy, space, and time, so to speak. And then from there down, now you're into the astral, well mapped out by John Monroe and many, many others. A lot of yogas travel into these lower worlds here. And then you have the physical body here. In Twitchell or everybody else, we all studying these, it is the Eckmasters that brought a whole bunch more way above this plane. Not worth talking about unless you're really a God seeker, because it's just, you don't want it to confuse you. Too much here to give you information, but you get this in the class. But you can see how this is being laid out. These are the map makers, guys. Twitchell and a lot of these guys are map makers, and you just take what that's what found me. You know, it's just like going to school. Yeah, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade. Everybody goes up the grades. Paul Twitchell goes up the grades. Robert Morse goes up the grades. All you guys go up the grades. But there are those of you that go through the grades fast because you already know them. And suddenly you're at these higher levels. So this is what Paul Twitchell was just awakening to these levels. And that's what the Radhaswami did for him. And, you know, you can talk to the Radhaswami and that's the end of God, but not really. It goes way, way, way. But this is where these masters have found life to be, where God to be. And this is true on these other levels too. Most religions and spiritual teachings have a dock, have a place where their founder or their master or their guru or their spiritual teacher works from, as far as they've gotten. And you'll notice, like Paul Twitchell, I was handed to Paul Twitchell by Darwin years and years and years ago when he took me as far as he could. Then he handed me to Petar Zask. And then from Petar Zask, I went to Phoebe Quantz. And Phoebe Quantz, that's a whole nother level of thinking. But these are, you start getting into masters. And that's when you get into the Ek masters. Now you're into the master's master. Not the masters, the master's master. And that is like the difference between Jalaluddin Rumi and Shamas Tabriz. Jalaluddin Rumi was the beautiful mystic poet, the dervish, whirling dervish founder, basically. And but his master, Shamas Tabriz, quite a powerful being. Quite a powerful being. So the Sufis have a real good line as well. But these are beings, you know, we judge and judge, but what you want to know is what these beings have to teach you about how you can get to there. Because after all, it doesn't matter about someone else's experience. If someone says to me about eyeglasses, who cares? It's about you, not about me. I'm on my own journey, you know, and you can't judge. You can't judge. Everybody does the best they can. Watch out for yourselves. That's the key here. And what does this teaching have for me? You know, we have a tendency to absorb the teachings. No, don't do that. You are that which exists. You are the all in the all. You just haven't opened yourself up to that realization yet. You don't need to take on other things. You already are all that it is. How do you get back there? How do you get to the now? How do you get to these places? And that's what this site's about. Trim the fat off. Trim the things off that hold you back, and we can go faster. There's always a faster way. There's always a shortcut. All right? Never let anything stop you. Diet, your pain, don't let anything stop you from reaching the ultimate awakening, which is awareness of yourself and God consciousness, and you will see that. The journey is well worth it. Take a look at this planet. Where's the future of this planet? Wars, pretty much. I can tell you, you're going to see so much turmoil yet coming, I think. But we'll see. Sometimes they feel eluded. Okay, let me see. What can you tell on this? I've been talking a lot about that, man. There's a certain point, and you might not be detoxified completely. That's what happened to me. I didn't get myself detoxified near what I wanted to. Of course, I didn't even have the herbs to help me. Just had the foods. Luckily, I had the organic oranges. And I didn't even know what color my eyes were. I'm a male, and I was always working. There's always work. You know, you don't look what eyes you have as a kid. And so the military said I had hazel eyes. It's like, what? But got rid of that. But I got so much energy, I had to back away. And I say what you will about it, you know. Do you think we need sex for our pleasure? I think we are rare beyond the animals to use this as a tool for pleasure. Well, I agree with you on that. Boy, you're asking some good questions, Alex. Maybe this site needs some a little up. If I had to say what is the one thing that I miss on this planet, I would say it's romance and lovemaking. I think those are the two things that definitely the interaction between two beings, you know, and the beauty of that is to see God in your mate, you know, and to love and to make love to that. That's pretty cool, you know, and so I do believe that as well. At the same time, I was celibate for a lot of years. And there's a lot to be said about that, you know. You know, that Samson cutting the hair thing, that wasn't cutting the hair thing, that was having sex, that was having an orgasm. And you notice after you have an orgasm, you're pretty like, oh man, that robs you of energy, big time. So for those that are trying to seek the ultimate, sometimes celibacy in the Hindu work and in those fields are essential to retaining the self, being self-disciplined, not giving yourself away to others. But the secret is you don't have to take those austerities. Remember, look at the life of Buddha, right? And look at his life when he was Siddhartha, when he was sitting under the tree for years with all the other, those without anything. And then he just woke up one day and go, well, I'm done. I got all I needed sitting here. Because who's sitting? You're just sitting and looking at the same consciousness. It's getting that consciousness. It's becoming that awareness. It's the key. So hard to explain sometimes. I guess that's why there's a whole bunch of talk around the whole thing. So I do believe that. I believe both sides. You can be celibate, but sometimes if you're too inward, you're too self-disciplined, it breeds narcissism. And that's a problem. And it happened to me, I think, early on. And I thought I was just being overly excited about raw foods. So I would make similar claims. Why aren't you on raw? Why would you eat cooked food as soon as you know that raw food was good for you? Why would you cook your food? That judgmental attitude lost me some friends. And so I've had my little booty kicked quite a bit. So this is the only reason I can talk with you, lovely souls, is that, you know, we learn from our experiences and our booty kicking. And so, I don't know. Outside of that, let me see, what do you think about, Brahma I never knew how to pronounce that perfectly. God, you guys are tough on me. Which consists of sexual abstinence to use this energy for, except for, well, you haven't brought in Immaculate Conception yet. You might bring in that one. If you look at Professor Hotima, Raymond Menard, all these people, they were battling over the ability, when you get into these high areas of consciousness, the transference of energy doesn't need to have a sperm. So I don't know. You know what? I believe physical needs physical, emotional needs emotional, but there's a lot of thought about the Immaculate Conception, almost like the, those movie Cocoon, you know, where they were light beings that took on these physical bodies, but took them off and they were light beings. That's just what you are. Same thing. You're a light being wearing a physical body. Take it off. Take off the emotions. Take off the mind and see who's really there. And guess who you find? Yourself. So, absolutely. You can do it either way you want to do it. The trick is, don't let physical, mental, or emotional experiences take you off your game. Enjoy romance and lovemaking. Just don't let it consume you. Don't absorb and become one with the other. Be careful about that, because that's how you breed attachment. And attachment locks you into your game, and then you're locked. And then it's just one after another. So keep yourself. If you can keep your individuality within a relationship, your relationship will be so much more beautiful. You'll be more patient. You'll be more understanding. You'll be all these things. And you'll always see your mate as God. And it all will be great. That's all I can say. What do you think about dreaming? Well, what do you think about traveling out of the body? Because it's just moving your attention from one drama to another, or dharma to another. That's all it is. You know, it's just you're moving your awareness from one place to another. You got a lot of worlds that you're active on simultaneously. Most people don't realize that you're active in all your bodies simultaneously. It's not like one's active and the other's not and everything else. When you're moving the physical body, you're moving your emotional body and your mental body and you as soul. You're moving all of them together, except soul doesn't move. It views. It's just consciousness. All the other bodies, especially the causal below, move. So you can, you're moving all your bodies. They're just so finely tuned together, it's hard to know where your physical body leaves and your astral body begins, and then where your astral body leaves off and your causal body begins, where your causal body leaves off and your mental body begins, and then where you are soul. But lucid dreaming, you didn't put lucid dreaming in there. I heard some guys in spirituality saying that you stop dreaming at a certain stage, or that you do only lucid dreams and reach the self, the regenerating Satchi Ananda. Well, I don't know what to say about that. Because the more you get to the self, you're right about dreams in the sense you are now actively, consciously participating in helping all the other spiritual greats, helping all the souls. There is so much going on in the assistance of itself. It's self-assisting itself. You've got silent ones, you've got spiritual beings, you've got all kinds. You got the what they loosely call the Ascended Masters, Saint Germain, all of those guys, Raphael, all the guys. You've got all that. They're still around working. You got a lot of beings. Matter of fact, I was going to bring you some pictures of a whole bunch of them that I've been drawing by artists that work with them in the inner worlds. I'll bring that and show you a bunch of pictures of spiritual people. And there's females included, guys. Not just men masters. There's female masters. And there's some butt-kicking female masters. One in particular, Katadaki. But it's enough to say that, absolutely. I think that none of that's important other than you become God conscious, or you become conscious or awake, whatever words you want to use with that. And then you become a worker. It depends where you are, what your journey is, it's all unique. But just like now, you're helping people in the physical world. Let me tell you guys, one thing, and I was thinking about this over the weekend in meditation, I wanted to tell you guys, you have to realize you guys are travelers too. And that you're not just helping their physical form, your soul. And you've got all these bodies too, so you're helping them in all your bodies, you're helping all their bodies. Oh yeah, this thing is huge. And you guys are much bigger than maybe some of you realize. You guys are working on all these levels. You're going to appear in other people's dreams. You're going to be helping them just like we are. So it's exciting because we're so multifaceted. It's just so fun and so exciting because now you get to taste that more infiniteness of yourself and suppose the limited little self that's always in pain and suffering. And what do? We eat, we go to work, and then we go to bed. We watch TV, and we don't even have fun. So these are worlds of joy and ecstasy and greatness. And you're as part of that as anything else could and can be. So you never sell yourself short. Alex, I love your questions. I kind of shelved a lot of the intellectual side of spirituality just because it's just, I left Eckankar a long time ago when after a few years in Herald, because that became obvious, that issue. And, we're used to working soul plane and above. And so I don't like working below that. Because where you work in creation, that's where your attention is, and that's where you are. I'm a God conscious realizer. That's my thing. But we can do anything in creation and still have that, of course. But that's always been my main focus, and so I don't know. But Alex, I really love your questions. Those are good. So you're pulling some of this rusty stuff out of me, especially the names and things. I used to be pretty good at Hindu and a little Sanskrit. I wish I'd have learned a lot more about Sanskrit. or the old original languages. Hi, I have a ton of questions being new to detoxing, but well, that's why the videos, but would love to know this. That's a mast cell problem, same thing. Wait a minute, is this the same lady? Yeah, this is Jane. Hey, Jane. So what herbs would I... Okay, so you're asking me allergic to any and one... I take H1 and H2 blockers that block the enormous histamine release that the mast cells release, and I would like not to take this during my detox, but feel bad without it. I think you could take it, though. You know what? It's backing up why your body's having that response. And... if your mast cells are releasing this, then you have high inflammatory responses. It might be mutated cells, but as a rule, you don't see an immune response or a histamine response unless there is a reason for that other than just a mutated mast cells. So I don't know, would you email me back private? Oh, with your response, I am very excited to start this detox. You know what? I'm sorry, Jamie, you already went up on the net. So... when you send them in like this, but I don't even have your email, honey. So I don't know how to email you. So, apologize, but I think that's an important question everybody needs to know. Each one of us is a great example for each other. So, we feed off of each other. We're friends, aren't we? That's right. And we love each other, right? Right. Hi, Dr. Morse. Please respond. It's Mark. Hi, Mark. And I am in need of advice from the Yoda. I did like little Yoda. Cute little thing. I had asthma when I was 2 years old. So already you were born with weak adrenals. Your neurotransmitters were low back then. Your myelin sheaths could have been down. See if you have nerve rings in your eyes. Good chance you have some, Mark. And that's all the autonomic. That's hooked right into the breathing. Okay, so that's first of all. Severe problems, could not breathe during nights and was barely saved with the use of hot showers. And what's amazing is you were saved with hot showers because as a rule, if you have MS, you don't want heat. Any neurological weakness, you do not want heat because that's acid, and that's acid on top of acid, just in another way. So interesting. My parents used homeopathy. Oh, that was nice. Good parents. To treat the asthma, and it worked. Yeah, smart parents. That's why I've said homeopathy is a great science of treatment. And that is where allopathic physicians should go. Then you don't have to carry such high insurance. You know what I mean? Because you don't kill anybody or mutate people. Until I entered my teens and I was introduced to steroids for muscle growth. Uh-oh, Mark. Since none of my friends had any issues, I didn't realize that steroids hammered the adrenal glands. But they did, Mark. And that's the thing that upsets me. You're not supposed to know that. You're the innocent individual that is seeking help. And so when you have physicians who don't know, I'm not like law. I actually think if you don't know, okay, fine. And it's like dentists. Dentistry didn't know that mercury was a neurotoxin. They're not in the younger years. No way. So they're not guilty of anything for that. Are you kidding? But too much evidence. They now know. So if a dentist puts amalgam fillings in your mouth, they should be able to be sued. No offense to your dentist, but you can't keep putting toxins, especially neurotoxins like mercury, into people. Even if you even kind of doubted it, don't do it. It's just, you just got to draw some lines, you guys, about what you will do and won't do as professionals and the interaction between other humans. You got to make some decisions because bad karma does not have a I know or don't know to it. It's automatic. You reap what you sow. Physics spells it out. Every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. That simple. I ended up with very low BP. Now that's your adrenals. And very low BP. And now BP low is more the systolic. That's the top number on the blood pressure mark. That's your adrenal glands. And when you have weak adrenals, of course you're going to have low systolic. And so anything to me below 118, very low systolic. When you get below 100, you're really into the low systolics. And that's real chronic fatigue hits you. But also that's where you start to lose the myelin sheaths. And that's also where you set your whole nervous system up for decay. And this is the autonomic, the worker bee nervous system. Remember the sympathetic, parasympathetic, push-pull. heart pain, ugh, and palpitations. Ugh. Not good. Problems breathing and fainting symptoms with blurred vision. Okay, Mark, that means you're backed up in the cerebellum up here, my friend. And this is a lot of inflammation, but it would be with weak adrenals when you were 2 years old. And you had weak adrenals and maybe some weak kidneys. You weren't filtering probably back at 2. Now, however old you are now, Imagine all this time and the lymph backing up, creating a little inflammation, a little more inflammation, a little more inflammation, or acidosis, however you wish to look at that, a little more, and then after a while, bam, 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 you see things going down. And that's just what it is. You can go for years and years and then suddenly, bam! Well, I've been healthy all these years. No, you haven't. See, that's the illusion again. People think people are healthy because they're up walking and look halfway good. Illusion, de-skin them and take a look inside. Matter of fact, look at the eyes of some people. Beautiful on the outside. The proof of that is look at some of these beautiful models on TV, especially makeup models and stuff, and they home in on the eye. Whoa, different tale, huh? Absolutely. So I have to say that this is a big issue up here for you. Okay, so this is, Mark, this is a problem with this is a lot of these indications you're talking about can lead you down the road to MS. I'm serious, and it's hot out there. Problems breathing and fainting symptoms with blurred vision. Absolutely. You really have got weak autonomic nervous system packed right in here in the cerebellum. All these things give you just that. And matter of fact, check your blood sugars because generally if you have low blood pressure, you have a propensity to low blood sugar. Same adrenal gland, just cortisol versus neurotransmitters. I have taken and still take the adrenal glandulars, but they only help some. Go to the 400s and do 2-3 times a day. If you have to do 4 times a day, check to see if you have a pituitary problem. Since I feel you've got some problems here, check your eyes, see if you have pituitary. That could be sitting down on those adrenals too. Have decent results with them. I have to use half a bottle a day. Yeah, that's sad. So check that pituitary. That might be a little more popper for you. Also, get the kidneys filtering. So the reason for this, think about the lymph system for a minute and think about mucus, all right, and how you get full of mucus. So think about the adrenal glands being full of mucus like your sinus cavities. Until you get that mucus out, do you feel clear? You know what I'm saying? And you function perfectly. So you're loaded up here, the blurry vision and all that. That can come from the cerebellum because remember, the optic nerves wrap around to the cerebellum. So, definitely an issue. Work on those neurolymphatics, Mark, down the back. Have somebody work those points for you. Get into those kidneys. Get those kidneys filtering as fast as you can, of course. And keep moving down those glandular way. I don't know. You can take the gland tonic on the side to see if you can develop a power there into the glands. You know, when you're that low, when you young guys are that low, you're going to have to hit it. You're going to have to use some tools and hit them because I don't know outside of that. Just doing raw on these chronic levels, I tell you, I got away. I got away from just using diet to try to help people years ago because it wasn't enough. And I developed tools for myself. And these are the tools I show you guys, but I developed all these tools for myself because I'm in practice. I need tools. And there are not many good tools out there. In order for me to have decent results with them, I had to, oh my God. So yeah, I can't afford that. So what I did was I tested my cortisol levels and they came back dangerously low. So I started using hydrocortisone and, oh no. Mark. Hydrocortisone will crash your adrenals when you stop it. You're going to super crash your adrenals, Mark. And it fixed my problems almost completely only during exercise. I study in a sports academy. Jesus Christ, Mark. You're going to have to rethink that one. All I can tell you is suck down the parsley juice, the dandelion greens, the beets. Suck down, get the adrenal 400s. I don't know if they make them even stronger. Do the best you can with that. Use your neurolymphatic points on your back to inspire increased adrenal function and increase the kidney function, because these points aren't just about lymph drainage. These points increases the function of the related gland or organ. So that'll be real key in helping you to inspire more function of the adrenals, is working on these neurolymphatic points. I have some, but I'm telling you, you're going to get yourself in serious shit, man. You take hydrocortisone, this has wrecked a lot of people's lives. And that's why you're feeling good, okay right now. Good, no problem. Now come off of that booger and you're in trouble. And cortisol is your blood sugar controlling steroid, and it is used to fight acidosis. So here's the problem with low cortisol levels: cholesterol. So you're going to be real careful, my friend. You're in dangerous territory right now. I am fully raw, good deal, with the exception of vegan protein powders for the amino acids. Ow! Mark! Yeah, plenty of amino acids in vegetables and fruits. Plenty. And you want more than just amino acids. You want the power of the nervous system, which you don't have. You want the power of epinephrine and norepinephrine, which you're low in. You want the power of all these things. You don't want popped up cortisol levels. And vegetarian protein amino acids, you walk real careful. You're still bringing too much nitrogen into the body, and you're going to create acidosis from this. Even from vegetable proteins, you got to be real careful with amino acids. What do you need so many amino acids for? That's the problem. We have a misthought about amino acids. I've just started your kidney 1, 2, and wow, and lymph 1, 2, and 3. Holy shit, he's going to kick butt. I want to eventually stop the use of hydrocodone, yes, and be independent. You've got to work this out, okay? I want health and power, yeah, and advice on my plan for health will be forever remembered. Are you kidding, man? You just try to get Yaz to respond to you on the Facebook. But let me tell you, some of these guys, and just Yaz, we got them all over the place. They're out there. They're pro athletes, and they're way out there on their game. I tell you, just get in and try to get some of these guys to respond to you, and keep going down that road. You've got to get your kidneys. You want power, you got to get your adrenals on. And to get adrenals on, you got to get the kidneys and the adrenals together, filtering, so everybody comes clean and you're inspiring. So keep working it, man. Keep working it. Stay the raw. Pump the greens. There you get plenty of amino acids, okay? I'd rather see you pump the greens. If you want amino acids, pump the superfood blend. Don't pump a protein powder from aminos. No. Now you have a chemical, you have them extracted. Now you have lost magnetics, you've lost everything, and now you have high nitrogen. You're walking down the same road. No. Tear this up. Get your body detoxed out of there. Even though you're in an academy for health and physicality, you want to at least, you got to open some doors here. The possibility of malabsorption, the possibility of all these, because you're talking about a lymph system that is a big deal. And look, you're already having problems up here in the dizziness, lightheaded, the low BPs and stuff. Dangerous territory, man. And what's going to happen is you're going to see your kidney function go up, and then your blood pressure will go up, but the wrong way. So you really want to power it out, because I'm telling you, it's more about removing obstructions than it is powering up with aminos, because you want power. Power doesn't necessarily come from amino acids. Just look at that show I talked about this morning. The guy pumping amino acids and the other guy pumping carbohydrates. Watched by professional athletes and medical doctors, and the guy that did the high protein went into pre-diabetes. He lost all his endurance and he lost his muscles. Wait a minute. Any advice on my plan? Absolutely. Because everyone around me in treatment-based thinkers, and their advice is bull. You're right, Mark, and I'm going to tell you something. The cautious, there's like this bodybuilder that asked us a question the other day, and he didn't want to give his name, and he's in the Mr. Olympia. You can transition slowly, but you've got some serious things going on here, Mark. I don't know if I would transition too slowly. I'd get myself detoxed and enter the realm of an energy that's beyond explanation. I don't know how to tell you about it. It's there, and it's available to each and every one of you guys. And it's just you got to get everything clean. You got to get all restrictive flow of energies in the body eliminated. So any restriction, that means anything that's in the body that shouldn't be. Mucus, proteins. Matter of fact, it's the proteins. If you haven't noticed, it's the proteins that give us the problem. Always. It's always the proteins. So just remember that, Mark. But good guy, good stuff, man. But I feel for you. You got to get into those adrenals and build that puppy up. The hydrocortisone, it's a symptom treater, but it's an adrenal wrecker. So be real careful, Mark. Real careful. You're doing good. Real proud of you. But be real careful. When you're down like that, you'll do things like that. So be real careful. I like your plan. Hit those adrenals. Keep hitting them with some glandulars. And work yourself off the hydrocortisone slowly. And keep hitting those adrenals. You might want to think about the gland tonic as a strengthener of the adrenals over a longer term. But I'd keep it raw, baby. Because you have to consider your faintness and all. You got to consider the blurry eyes. You got to consider this, because what good would your muscles be and your programs be if you were in a wheelchair with MS? See what I'm saying? That's why you take care of business first, and then you pursue your dreams. Hello, Dr. Morrison friends. We've got a lot of friends, I hope. I just came across your YouTube, and I'm so impressed with your shares and big... Oh, thanks. Thank you. Oh, it's Jennifer. Thank you, sweetheart. What a wonderful person. Oh, thanks, honey. I appreciate that. I really do. And it takes a wonderful person to know a wonderful person, don't it? I have a question of what herb tonic to start with. I am 44, just had a child at 42. The late bloomer, are we? Yeah, you'll have kids around 42 years old. I am seeing symptoms, and I was 18. Oh. I am seeing symptoms of blocked lymph nodes in my groin. Ooh, yeah. You don't want that. So you want to get those kidneys filtering, no question, because that's not a good place, of course. Armpits, no. Under the breast, no. In the form of boils. Okay, so this is an individual that is full lymphatically. Jennifer's lymph system, a little bit backed up, are we? So we got to get those kidneys and adrenals going, Jenny. You've got to get your system, get these lymph nodes filtering and get these kidneys filtering. Because you know and I know, nothing good happens when lymph nodes swell. Guess what's happening on the other side of them? Not the kidney side, the cell side. Not good. So definitely want to stop this in its tracks. So your only way is get your kidneys filtering. So adrenals and kidneys, hit your GI tract, really get going with that. So I would start off with the basic 2-week kit. Remember I said it's a dewormer. It's a 1 kidney formula, 1 lymphatic formula. It really just opens the door, kills worms and stuff, kind of gets everything opened up and going, hey, look, I'm on the road to detox. Then we kick it up to 2 lymphatics, 2 kidneys. Now, we have cases where, and we just were talking about one, that's so backed up that when she goes on 2 lymphatics, she swells. Too many lymphatics, 2 kidneys, it won't filter. So remember that, guys, on Facebook. Sometimes if we pull too hard, these nodes will swell. Okay, so you back down. You know the lymphatics are pulling too hard, so you want to go to the kidneys for a while, and the adrenals, maybe 1 lymphatic. If that's too much, you got to do it all with diet, but hit the kidneys and adrenals. Leave the lymphatics off. Hit everything else. Just leave the lymphatics to the side. Introduce it or cut down your dosage to where you can get some rhythm of movement and rhythm of hydration, and therefore the nodes and tumors won't swell. Because people are just literally clogged up, backed up, constipated up, and we're just opening the doors for them. Matter of fact, you guys are just opening the beautiful door to the world of God in every way. Light, love, happiness, health, everything. Fun, joy, good romance. As well, about 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with a pituitary adenoma, which is a tumor which excretes excessive prolactin, common. My periods are heavy with lots of clotting. Yeah, pituitary. My abdomen has not returned to normal since childbirth, as I still look 5 months pregnant. Holy crap, sweetheart. Well, you know what? You got to get your kidneys and adrenals. You got to get into that lymph system of yours. Your body is just like the boils under the breast and everything. Your body's going, I'm full. I need help. Clean me out. So, Jenny, you got to get your body cleaned out. This is key. Open up these kidneys and adrenals. Get your adrenals up. Get your bowels cleaned out. Get the liver cleaned. Use these formulas and get everything back to normal. Then your body will tighten and tone up. Now, how interesting is this, guys? It's possible we're looking here also with a parathyroid problem, not toning and tightening, and you're going to go back to where? The pituitary, PTH. You know that the pituitary controls the parathyroid, PTH. The pituitary controls the thyroid, TSH. So you've got these hormones coming out of the pituitary that turns on all the other glands. So that's key. But now that she's got a tumor up there, we've got to get that out. And that, you've got to clean this GI tract real good. Don't be afraid of the GI broom, Jenny. Get in there and move this, clean up these bowels and kidneys. Get these kidneys filtering. And I would do it immediately. So for the past 3 months, I've transitioned onto a more fruit-based plan. Yeah, done some acid cleanses. For that, you really want to get that lymph filtering through those kidneys, because this can't go anywhere without some route open for it to do that. The body has no reason to move it, to open it, until there's a pathway. You don't mistake the intelligence of the body. Never forget that. I now do coffee enemas every day. I can't say enough bad about them. Please get away from them. Use stomach and bowel formulas. They're regenerative. They're so far advanced. Plus, you don't overstimulate your liver, your kidneys, your adrenals. Not a good way to do it, sweetheart. Back off of those coffee enemas, or you're going to end up with severe constipation. You overwork peristalsis. You can't poop anymore. Not good. Had a lot of experience with this. Now, ready for the next step. Could you please advise me as to where to start? Go to the fruits. Put yourself on some fruit fast, because this is a tumor. No messing around. So get yourself up on a fruit fast. Get yourself up on a 40-day grape fast if you can, or work toward that. Do 5 little day fasts. I don't care. Do the 10-day lemon juice fast. Do a 5-day lemon juice fast. Who cares? But get moving on your lymph system. Go in 2 kidney formulas. 1 capsule, 1 tincture. 2 lymphatic formulas. 1 capsule, 1 tincture. Start out with kidney number 1, kidney number 2. Start out with lymphatic 1. Now, I would probably go to lymph node number 5. It's a tincture. All the lymph nodes are tinctures, because I wanted it to absorb quicker, if possible, through the bowel wall and into the system. Working on lymph nodes quicker. This is a heavy hitter. These are tumor buster herbs. So I would think about that. But you've got to get everything cleaned up down. Everything stacks on itself. So you got a lot under here stacked up. All these lymph nodes, all this has got to come clean, because this can't drain without all that happening. Thanks again thanks, sweetheart. Jennifer, hit it, sweetheart. We all love you. You hit it hard and get these tumors out and get these lymph nodes down and get everything cleaned up, okay? If you need our help, give us a call. You got Facebook, got plenty of guys there. It's worked with tumors and stuff. All our staff is always working with tumors. So plenty of help for you. Don't feel like there's no help. And get this tumor out of there, sweetheart, because even if you go in and have them remove it, they can damage the pituitary. So remember that little girl I was telling you about with the pituitary tumor, that even 3 weeks on raw foods, the tumor popped out on the surgeon's hands almost. Literally, the surgeon told the mother that. And it was like, wow. So there is always benefit. But surgery opens up, that's in the brain. You got to fix it anyway, because if you did surgery, you'd have to go visit it again probably in a while, because the tumor will grow back. Remember I told you long videos way back, there was a black surgeon, and he was operating, and she was about 6 years old maybe, don't quote me, but maybe she was 12 at that time. Just can't remember the age. And he's working. He has her brain open, and he's working, and he's taking a tumor out. And he's talking to the camera. And he said, this is the 4th time I've been in her brain. And he said, this tumor's from the chemo and radiation we gave her. Just talking to the camera like me and you're talking here. And I'm going, wait, did anybody get that? Especially the world that jumps into the use of chemo and radiation. So, enough said, Lori, hi, Lori. I have a block saliva gland the past 3 months, and it pumps up when I chew more. Yeah, I am completely off any dairy, and good. And I am juicing fruits and veggies daily while eating basically raw vegan, but some meat, fish occasionally, and kamut or brown rice, pasta once in a while. I did take some antibiotics, which I feel did not help me at all. They want to do an ultrasound, for they believe there is a stone that is blocking the left saliva gland. It could be, but what's that stone? If there was, let's say. Well, it could be calcifications. And it could be just thick, hardened lymph. You ever get these tonsil stones? These are lymph nodes, guys. And that's my fear in extended lymph node swelling, that the lymph nodes can get hardened or decayed from the high acidosis in them. Thank God for the bacteria. And this is the problem. Here we enter a problem with medical thinking and the use of antibiotics, almost going totally against nature and God. And they wonder why they can't cure anything. And so to kill somebody's bacteria in their lymph nodes, serious business. Matter of fact, if you look, and I've said this before, all you guys, if you look at the sickest people, they've been through antibiotics, they've been through antidepressant drugs, steroids, chemotherapies, what's some other things? I mean, these are the things that wreck people's life. Oh, they don't get any sun. They use too many sunglasses. All these things. You don't get any sun. I don't care what they say about the atmosphere. You don't get any sun, you're in trouble. And so, everybody's taking the D3s. Well, get this. How does the sun create D3? What's the lipid used? Cholesterol. What protocol would you recommend for me to take with your tinctures? I would love to shift this naturally. Yeah, you definitely want to, because you're going to have to anyway, because you could start getting some swelling and tumors on the throat and things, or voice box polyps or tumors. It goes on and on. It can be anywhere. Thyroid, parathyroid, just take your pick. This is all vulnerable for anything. It's all cells and blood and lymph. So anywhere. Now, same thing. Detox is pretty much the same thing. The differences is in other tissues you might have to get slower or faster, dietary slower or faster, either vegetables or fruits, that sort of thing. That's the game we play. But basically our focus is always the same, whether it's a pituitary tumor, a breast tumor, or a toe tumor. Doesn't matter. It's the same system, and you can't pick where you can get rid of and where you can't. Now, as I said, I've never pulled a tumor from the skull. I suppose it's possible, but I've never done it. Anybody ever pulled a tumor with black salve through the skull? It's porous, and it should pull good, but I've never done that. Lori, get with it, sweetheart. We're here to help you, and you get these tumors out of you. That's just risky. Dr. Morris, I'm George. George, nice to meet you. I'm Robert, a 46-year-old from the UK. I've been watching your videos for over a year now and love... Oh, thanks, man. I've learned so much. Thanks so much, my friend. I'm struggling to get healthy these days and don't seem to... You're in the UK. No, I haven't been that. But, it is hard to get healthy where the weather isn't always beautiful. The UK is tough. Food supplies, everything else, from what I hear. Videos for over, let me see here. I'm struggling. I'd really appreciate it if you could give me some advice. Well, let's see what's up, man. It all got difficult when I started to come off a tranquilizer I took for about 15 years, because all that while ago I had a couple of anxiety attacks and high anxiety. I was given diazepam for that, to be specific. Oh no, I figured probably. Yeah. Oh, man. Well, last year I was determined to stop it, so I started to wean off the drug slowly. Right from the beginning, my taper, I've had sleep troubles, insomnia, also interrupted sleep on and off. So, okay, so here's a couple things before we go further. Get yourself a pineal glandular. Kind of wreck your pineal gland a little bit and your nervous system. So get a pineal glandular, 1 or 2 BS before sleep. You use those to help you to sleep better. At the same time, let's build that nervous system, because a healthy, strong nervous system is a quiet and peaceful nervous system. An irritated nervous system is a restless nervous system. So acids, of course, deteriorate even the nervous system. So this is, you want to get your kidneys, you want to get your lymph. In other words, you want to do the standard detoxification, because you're getting up into the brain. Because remember, detoxification isn't just about removing the acids which decay and irritate. It's about enhancing and rebuilding. That's the neat part about this. I don't know if there's another word you could use, but detoxification to me is the process to get to Wellville, which is a state of regeneration, rejuvenation. Right from the beginning of my, okay, as well. Now, upper circuit, brain, and nerve. 2 formulas, swear by them, love them. Upper circuit, brain, and nerve. That moves blood aggressively up in your brain, and brain and nerve is for the neurons. Same time, you're pumping in fruit. Lots of fruit, lots of grapes, lots of pears, lots of peaches, lots of apples, whatever you do. That invigorates, cleans and invigorates, and magnifies the journey of cells. The anxiety, you know immediately where your problem was the adrenal glands, man. So you got to, here, George, you got to get in your adrenal glands and get your adrenal glands up. Those are neurotransmitters for your myelin sheath, for your autonomic nervous system. You really need that up and going. The anxiety increased as well, and also started to develop over more physical symptoms such as dizziness, tendinitis, cold feet and hands. That's a problem with long-term use of chemical medications. Suppressive ones. See, that's a problem. We talked about this earlier, about pharmaceuticals as being highly suppressive. Not good. Not good, you know. So you have to now clean these toxic residues out of the body. You've got to inspire what was suppressed, because now those cells, they don't know. They have 15 years of this, pretty much settled into the experience. So now you're waking them up. And now you're going to see what's really wrong with you. But you fix these things, you know. GI tract issues like bloating, pain, and undigested foods, and hemorrhoids with prolapsed rectum. Holy shit. That comes out every time I move bowels and need to push it back up. I need a drink. And yes, that's tea. Poor guy. Well, get on your parathyroid, George. Get the parathyroid glandular and take either the superfood blend with it or kelp with it. And I would do about 2 bottles of that, and I'd do 1 TID. That's 3 times a day. And so you want to work with that, because you want to strengthen that connective tissue, man. That's why you want the fruits. You don't want anything constipating, anything that sticks. That's starch, any protein. That takes more calcium out of structure. You don't want any of that stuff. You want fruits. They're gentle, they're electrifying, they're cleansers, they're healers. You want all those things, man. And they make for nice, easy, soft movements. So you want to work with that. Boy, I'd be hard-pressed to say that, see, with a case like this, where his rectum comes out whenever he's pooping, I would be careful with the GI broom. Maybe too strong. So I'd probably go back and use the Heal All T capsules instead of the stomach and bowel capsules. And you could do the Heal All T capsules 2-3 times a day. At the same time, I'm going to get into your kidneys. I'm going to get into your adrenal glands. I'm going to get in and strengthen all this up. You could insert up the rectum just a little bit, not to cause an evacuation, just insert a little ways up you could insert some greens, so that the God's Blend, the superfood. You could insert a little bit up there just to energize, or some green juices or something, just up a little bit. I wouldn't not into the wheat stuff, but alfalfa is a major strengthener. So you could do a little alfalfa juice right up that rectum just a little bit and see if that would help you. But you want to get a hold of that parathyroid. You want to get a hold of your glands, get a hold of all this, and start working yourself out that way. And try to, you just got to have to work yourself back out of this one. That comes out every time. Back up. Sorry for the graphic. There's nothing graphic. You want graphic? Let me show you some pictures. I wish we could get graphic on here because this is an educational site for us. So pictures speaks 1,000 words. And I'm also a bit depressed with mood swings. Okay. But again, I'm going to the parathyroid for that depression. Mood swings, I'm going to go back down to those adrenal glands and kidneys. So you want to get all the acidosis out of these tissues because it's going to continue to rob the connective tissue of calcium. No proteins down that bowel at all. Robs calcium out of the wall. You don't want that because you're going to lose the wall, and that's what you've done. You lost connective tissue integrity, and so you're prolapsing right out. Women have it with bladder and uteruses right out the vaginal canal. A lot of fun that is. So, we strengthen. We're not just cleaning, we're strengthening. We're rebuilding. And just know where the glands come in with that. And the parathyroid is the calcium utilization, connective tissue, skeletal, things like that. The thing is that I got confused as to whether these might be symptoms caused by the withdrawal from the tranquilizer or something else, or if this matters at all. At this point, it doesn't matter at all. But I'll say that it's not all from the tranquilizer. You're probably just seeing your own genetics, George, coming into play here. But with that said, you did a lot of neural suppression, so just go ahead and just detox and fix everything. You're okay. You can still pull your body right back out of this, but you've got to work on it. The prolapses might take you a little while to handle that, so we want to make sure that parathyroid is up. Gives a question now. We see a pineal down. We see a parathyroid down. Do we have a pituitary problem here? And that is exactly why iridology is so valuable as a tool that each and every one of you can use. You don't have to buy cameras. You can use the old magnifying glass and flashlight. Now cameras are getting too expensive and ridiculous. I began to change my diet with a couple of years ago. I was told I had high cholesterol. Okay, so your adrenals are down. That's cortisol's down. Watch your blood sugars. And no way I wanted to take statins after my bad experience with pharmaceuticals. I grew up on the typical Western diet of meat, dairy, breads. The very things that causes just what you got. The very things. The wrecking of the GI tract. Exactly. I slowly eliminated all these. Good dude. Pretty much vegan. I keep eating grains, seeds, and pulses. But a few days ago, I decided to get rid of these as well. Good man. Until I get well, at least till you get well. And what does that tell you? Is you have to eat these foods to get well. Could be. The catch is that I've lost quite a lot of weight. Well, my catch is you're probably malabsorbed by now, man. So malabsorption could lead you a little thin. You got to push through all of this to get on the other side where the sun is shining, everybody's smiling, and everybody's happy at Wellville. And that's just what you got to do, is pull your body down to Wellville, man. I've been eating as much raw as I could, in the cold climate I live in, so the winter has been difficult. But the spring's here, so we can move right along. I've also tried some of your herbs, like endocrine gland herbs, Heal OT, lymphatic system 1, kidney and bladder 1. I took a couple of bottles of each. I could see they are very helpful. I need to kick up a little bit higher, I think. What can I do to get back into Wellville and feel healthy again? Thank you so much, George. Listen, upper circumbrachioid nerve number 1. Get up there and start promoting blood flow into the tissues response, into the pineal, the pituitary, all of that. Pop up with a parathyroid glandular, along with either kelp or a superfood blend with high calcium, that sort of thing. Start moving those kidneys, get those kidney filtrations with the adrenals and kidneys. You might have to slowly clean that GI tract, not too aggressive, because you'll end up having that back end sticking out. And you just got to keep working. Oh, I got a pretty picture. Where is that picture? You guys want to see a picture? Oh, I'm bad. There's the bad side of me, too. Let's see if I can find it in here. is we have pictures, pictures, and more pictures. This is what a blown rectum looks like. If you've never seen one, I hope I still have it for you. I'll show you this. This is all the goo pile you can get out. These are all tumors, 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 tumors. Ooh, more tumors. Oh, that's a bad tumor. Tumor. That's the kind of tumors we get here. Incredibly ridiculous. Anyway, I've got it somewhere. I'll show you one of these days. I'll remember it too. What a blown rectum looks like. Not real pretty. Some bodybuilders get it when they are lifting too heavy, and they got connective tissue weakness. They have parathyroid weakness, and they blow out their rectums. I got so much paperwork, it'll probably take me forever to find it. Sorry about that. But not pretty. Here's some. This is Dr. Jensen's stuff. All this mucoid plaque out of the bowels. Out of the bowels. It's all the black stuff you see. But strengthen. And that goes to say about bodybuilders too, guys. If you're weightlifters, make sure your parathyroid is good because, like I say, I would love to show you a picture of a blown rectum. It's not pretty. And heavy weightlifters can blow your rectums out, so be careful. First of all, I wish to thank you for the great contribution. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate your guys' love. I really do. It's been an interesting ride. So I really appreciate your love, guys. Really do. I'll give it back to you 1,000,000 times full. Thanks, man. Appreciate all this. You're a half a century young, 50 years old, and I have a lot of issues of great concern related to my well-being. And I'm asking for your guidance. Well, you've got my guidance no matter what. You guys can rip me, and you'll always have my guidance. I have issues with my high blood pressure, okay? So let's go to kidneys, right? So you want to clean your kidneys out and get your adrenals up. That'll move your high blood pressure out unless it's a swinging high blood pressure, which is back here, which you got to do the same thing. You got to get your kidneys filtering your lymph system. Cold hands and feet, down thyroid, right? My urine is clear. That's what I'm saying. We need to filter that. Get that filtering. Get those adrenals up and get those kidneys filtering. Work on that with the herbs and stuff and maybe the glandular for the adrenals. Mood swings in and out of depressive states. So, again, here's your cold hands and feet, which is your thyroid. Here's the depressive states, the parathyroid. So he's got thyroid and parathyroid problems. We know immediately from these symptoms. Now, the question is the pituitary sitting down on them, or are they themselves genetically an issue, or are they just full of mucus and stuff? Either way, you're going to get up into the head. And I love the upper circuit brain and nerve to get up in people's heads and awaken them up a little bit. But you want to detox any congestion out of the sinuses, out of the pituitary, out of the thyroid, parathyroid. You could use these neurolymphatic points to inspire more thyroid and parathyroid function. And they're right on the hump and just below on the back. Since I started with an alkaline diet, I'm losing hair. Well, you were already losing it. That's what people don't realize. When your body starts going into an alkaline energetic state, your body starts getting rid of those things that are weak or broken down. That is common. That will always be, and people have to get used to that. You're not losing what's healthy. You're losing what wasn't healthy. Your body doesn't throw away healthy tissue. Anybody thinks that's ridiculous. It just doesn't happen unless you're past that point of PNR. Point of no return. And that's extreme acidosis, extreme dehydration. Hard to get someone back from that. No question. Might as well go and have fun out of your body and get rid of that one. And since I started with I have pain in my joints all the times. So we know immediately he's acidic head to toe. So we know immediately kidneys and adrenals, right? Absolutely. Now, would he want to go out and start working his joints real heavy? No, he already has pain in him. What do you want him to create more acids for? No. Can he work this pain out by working his joints? No. Matter of fact, it can come back with a vengeance. That's where physical therapy has to learn a little more about detoxification when you have physical therapy needs. Definitely my adrenals are in bad condition. I stopped. Isn't it nice to know more about your body and how it works? I'm still not done educating. We're still, once I get someone I've always thought caught up, maybe we'll do a little more. But that's why I have my school. Someday I'm not going to have my school anymore, and I'll do it all through these videos. But right now, I like to have a week with people because it's an intense week. I stopped smoking for 10 days. I stopped smoking for 10 days ago and have a lot of congestion in my head. Yeah, because now that you were stimulating everything, now you stopped. Wham! It's kind of like was Georgia about hydrocortisone. Once he stops, wham! And it's going to be a bigger wham than when he stopped the other one. So this is the problems. We're in catch-22s. And I don't blame anybody for trying to feel well. I blame our medical community who knows better. When you know better, you shouldn't do it. Especially when you know that that patient of yours down the road is going to majorly suffer. Stand up and be a man as a medical doctor or a woman and recommend other people that can help them. I recommend people all the time to people. I recommend medical doctors to people. I recommend chiropractors to people. I recommend massage therapists. I recommend acupuncturists. I recommend everybody to people that need it. I don't recommend them if they don't need it. Stop smoking. That's acid right into the blood, man. I'd stop smoking forever now, and I have a lot of congestion. Yeah, you got to drain all that out of there. That's all that sinus and all that. Tonsils are swollen. Yeah, that's all your lymph system. And that's kind of the kickback from stop smoking. You do good. You stop smoking is a big deal. It's tough for a lot of people to stop that. Same with the weed or anything else. Anything's addicting. Sweet tea can be addicting. Anything can be addicting. I won't go there. I heard you guys. I ain't going there. I drink a lot of lemon juice, and when that happens, and after a day or two, the swelling disappears. This is perfect. You see what I mean? Lemons are real astringent, so lemons will work on that lymph system, of course. That's just cool. The fact that you saw that, though, who am I talking to? Oh, Carmen. Carmen, the fact that you saw that is good. You saw the body responding quickly with some lemon juice. That's good. Because there's a time where you can get so impacted that that response isn't so quick. And that's more difficult. So the fact that your body responded here fairly quick on that, that gives me, look at there. Right? I found some charts illustrating the lymphatic nodes, and I applied gentle massage on these points. After doing that for about 15 minutes or so, I eliminate a lot of the mucus. Yeah, I mean, that's massaging the mucus out, absolutely. Anytime you can hawk it out or poop it out or pee it out, it's better. But these neurolymphatic points will do the same thing. Alkalization will do the same thing. Detoxification, which is the process of alkalization, will do the same thing. My left knee is swollen. Again, look at that. So then again, you're looking at the kidneys backing up these lymph nodes and the lymph down the leg there. And then bye-bye a knee after a while, right? And I massage that every evening. Eat salads, go to fruits. I drink green drinks. Okay. And just started with berries and grapes. Perfect. Hit it more on the grapes and lemons. You saw where lemons really astringent. See, these cases prove our points, don't they, guys? All these cases just prove our points and how right on spot we are, right? It's just that some people are more difficult than others to deal with because their genetics, their lymph systems are deeper and worse, so you can't judge these things. If you're sitting there, and this is the mind, you're sitting there and there's a regimen for everybody and everybody's the same, and it just doesn't work. And it's like medical thinking. Stats for everybody? One of the problems, obviously, in medical stats, and I see this with biochemical stats, is they don't take in consideration, most stats from the medical community, from even chemists and biochemists, are from unhealthy, acidic people. So we're observing actions of chemistry within an acidic medium in most cases. It is rare that I've seen any stats related to healthy people. We're creating our own stats because this is where we all go, each every one of us, all the time. That's a truthful stat. And they don't have healthy stats to align with all their stats they have. And this is why, a good example, why the PSA in a male went from 0 to 3 in labs to 0 to 4. Why in the hell would someone increase the PSA readings from 0 to 3 to 0 to 4 when genetics dictates the opposite? So now people say, well, if I have my PSA is in normal ranges. Is it? Well, I've had prostate cancer with PSAs of 2. So don't take these numbers for granted. You know, these guys are crazy. They don't know what norms are. So you have to be careful with that. And some labs are way out of line. Wonder where these guys get their knowledge. I feel that I need to give my system more help in order to move this lymph as I feel that around my left knee. Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to lose that left knee either. After doing a lot of research on the problems, precise your YouTube videos, I now understand that my beloved mother died as a result that her lymphatic system. Oh, that's sad. Well, you know, I mean, this is creation. You live and die. You're born, you live, you die, all that kind of stuff. But it is sad when you lose your parents too quick or people too quick when they didn't really need to, you know. I mean, when you look at the shallow experiences, we're all just around health and all this sort of thing. Come on, there's a big world out there. And it's too bad that we have to focus on our health before we can even enjoy the world. Oh, sad. And some people don't ever get to enjoy because they're... But I want you guys to remember this. This is all karma. As much as I emotionally respond to this, I also have to keep my spirituality and know that this is karma. That you created this. Now, I'll help you undo your karma. And that's what you guys are. You're becoming spiritual greats. You're becoming the light bearer, the way showers. And with that, you can help people unwind their karma. And when you learn more of spirituality, you can help them unwind karma on all levels. But you're helping them to unwind a lot of karma. Not just physical, though. There's emotional and mental karma involved in physical expressions. So you guys are doing a lot more than you realize. You're really proud of yourselves. I'm real proud of all you guys. You're doing so good. Poor thing. She was diagnosed with 2 tumors in her right lung. They had to drain the... Exactly. I'm very aware of that from the lung now and then. Yeah, absolutely, you know, and that's the worst thing, and that's the trouble with lung cancer. We get them in here that their lungs keep filling up. Now, you know, they have a technique. They go in and spray this this substance on the inside of the lung, kind of like a barrier, so the lungs won't fill up anymore. So you have to have them aspirated every so often, but get your... Well, it's too late. And then they offered her the lethal solution of chemo. I know. And I'm telling you, I'm just adamant people need to go to jail for this. And from a spiritual viewpoint, too, the karma has to whip. Because souls have to learn and wake up. Things you do and don't do, especially in interactions with other souls, so you can learn how to have your own creation without it collapsing in on itself. You know, you man who wrote me about Paul Twitchell read The Tiger's Fang. Enjoy that, buddy, because that's that's part of the worlds and how they're put together. A lot of information in there. But there's just so many people with negative thoughts tearing down people. And in Eckankar, we had the Christian community come after us hard. When you're after somebody that hard, we got something. You know, and all I can tell you, if you studied throughout all the world, and you studied all your religions and philosophies like I did, you wouldn't be asking me that. After exactly 4 months, she passed away. Passed away. After researching your videos now, I understand. You see why? And the phases she's been on, and I was at her side these months not being able to save her. Well, sweetheart, you didn't know, and it wasn't meant to be. So you can't take that in emotionally. You just didn't know at the time. You know now, and maybe that experience opened you enough to accept this. You don't know. You might not have accepted this level if you didn't go through that. Your mission is big. There's some reason that you had to go through that soul, your mother, passing. And it's probably going to see it coming in the near future, what your journey is to help others, because that we're all an education device to each other. I learn off of you guys. I don't sit here closed-minded. I'm pretty secure in what we know to be true, but am I open? I'm open, but I'm not open to crap that don't work and crap that can hurt you. Not open to that. 1 week before she passed, I contacted Dr. Torello, I don't know this name, hoping that sodium bicarbonate would make her well. Now, when you're using bicarbonate, of course bicarbonate is an alkalizer of the blood, no question. Pancreatically produced, of course, definitely for hydrochloric acid neutralization, things like that. And so the fast track alkalizer, which is the bicarbonate ingestion, sodium bicarbonate, aluminum free, of course. If you think about it, though, it's just going to take a while. You're trying to bring in alkaline chemistry and all that, which is good. But you're bringing it into a house that's locked and all the doors are closed in most cases. The skin doesn't sweat, the kidneys don't filter, and so you're bringing all this in. It's okay to bring it in, but you got to open up the back. You got to open up the back end, because they've got to poop it out, pee it out, sweat it out, or cough it out. And if you ever done lung cancer cases, a lot of them cough a lot out. Unfortunately, when this happened back in 2009, I did not know about. Well, of course not, sweetheart. Don't ever beat yourself up. Wasn't meant to be. Like I said, Carmen, your job now will be to help others in this situation. So your mother was there to help you to awaken and to be ready for this knowledge. And that was the best thing she could have left you. I want to reach Wellville, and no mountain is too high and no valley too low. Boy, I love you, Carmen. You'll be fine. Take off after what you know to be true. No, learn off your mother that she wasn't moving her lymph, and you're her offspring. So you've got to fix your kidney and adrenals and your lymph system, and then you'll know you won't be walking that same road, sweetheart. Good questions. Much good questions, guys. And this is Dave. Much love to you, Dave, from London. Hi, Robert. Thanks for your gift to us with your knowledge. Listen, you know, I just want us all to get everybody well, you know, and just have good journeys and stuff like that. I wanted to ask you about hay fever and your thoughts on it. What does it matter really what instigates your immune system or your lymphatic system? Know that these are two of the same systems. It doesn't matter. It can be hay fever. It can be any particle, pollen, dust. It doesn't matter. When you get so full, your cup's full. Your body can't deal with toxins anymore. And then you have responses. And these responses can get real bad, like hives all over the place. I mean, you can get almost up to the anaphylactic areas. I mean, you can get really sensitive to these sort of things. And you notice that when you detox, all that goes away. All of it goes away, always. So all of that is just showing that you're too congested, and that just all these type of proteins and things are just irritating and causing an immune response. And it's just all that is. And you just start cleaning, man, and get all this cleaned out. I have only been catching it for the past few years now during the springtime, and wanted to know why and how. Clean that lymph system up, Dave, and you won't have that anymore. You will bypass that every spring. But that's a natural process of nature, fertilizing everything. And you just have to get yourself lymphatic clean, and then you can, nothing will bother you like that. That's the neat thing about it. God, March 10th. This is March 19th. It's 9 days ago. Yeah, I don't know if I responded to this or not. This is help. My 7-year-old daughter has 3 neck tumors. Hello, Dr. Morris. I first saw you on, I read this, Atlantean Conspiracy blog. Now, I think I asked them to contact you, so I don't know where I'm at on this, Lily. But
She first found me on Atlantean Conspiracy blog, and your insight about being alkaline to be healthy resonates with me. It's not just about being alkaline. It's being alkaline dominant. But also, acids are an important factor in life. The minor acids like estrogen and testosterone and aldosterone and other minor acids in the Krebs cycles that are developing. But at a certain point, they become then irritants, inflammatories, and everything else. I have a 7-year-old daughter, just turned 7 on February 27th, and she has 2 neck tumors on the right side. She told me her neck hurt when she bent it, and I checked on March 4th to discover 2 lumps, one larger than the other. Now on March 10th, I felt her left side of the neck only discover another small lump. Okay, now she's only 7. So, I don't know where you're at on this, but you got to be careful with this one because the medical doctors will take your daughter, and it's not pretty. It's just not pretty. So, it's not difficult to get these lumps out of the kids. But guess what? Kidneys and adrenals, same thing. These kids have the same thing we got. They're just little adults, right? So you really want to get into her lymph system, and kidneys, adrenals. Even if you do it, you can do it all herbal. Get a lymphatic 1 tincture. Get lymphatic 1 tincture. Get kidney 1 tincture. Get parasite M. I would probably 7 years old. My 7-year-old grandson takes stomach and bowel, so I would do maybe one stomach and bowel 3 times a day if you can. Definitely do the endocrine gland formula, maybe even the adrenals, both of them together, and then pull. 7 years old, total fruit. Get these tumors out of her now, honey, because I'm telling you, Lily, nothing good comes to what you're seeing. Nothing good comes to what you're seeing. Get these out. You don't have to pull them with black salve. She's too young to. You can fix these. You can fix these and get them moving. I believe this is caused by a family member spraying insecticide into our air filter. What? Well, insecticides are neurotoxins, and that would actually send her more toward ADD or ADHD. Or something thereof neurologically. This is lymphatic. Now, it's true that that'll stress the lymph system too. So that is true. Which faces my daughter when she sleeps. Holy crap. God. Oh my God, what a world. She started coughing very intensely starting around the 2nd week of February and lasted for 2 weeks, tapering off on the 3rd week. Yeah, but it sounds like her lymph system's full. So start detoxifying her. That's the only method to get rid of these things, and you're going to fix her for the rest of her life. And this is a good time to do it. So hit her on the fruits. Just sit down and say, honey, we're on a fruit diet, and we'll get these lumps off of you with the fruits. Teach her the truth early on. I too have strange symptoms as I sleep in the same room with her. Well, there's no question. These are serious toxins. I had guys playing with pesticides with no gloves, no masks, no eye protection, and it's like, you okay? Oh no, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay, all right. Holy crap. That's probably their boss saying, yeah, no problem, they're okay. These are neurotoxins. I, too, have strange, my nose was plugged and running. Yeah, it probably irritated your mucosas and, of course, created more mucus. And then mucus, of course, clogs the lymph system even more and swells up everything. Absolutely. The same time she's called me. Please help and let me know what I can do to help her. I am trying to research a way to detox this out of her body. Hey, you can do that. I don't want a conventional doctor to want to cut it out or do chemotherapy, and that's exactly right. So I'm going to tell you, you got to handle this yourself. I'm going to see if Chris can email you and tell you this is on this site or what. We have been poisoned throughout last year. It's hard to know. Oh, my God. So this was something that was redundant, something that was constantly going on. Oh, my God. And they're experiencing extreme head and stomach pains. I think the poison may be whatever that is, but my symptoms seem to me more like organophosphate poisoning on 2 occasions, and I don't know what they call this one, on 2 others. In fact, I think, well, it doesn't matter. It's all poisons. I call poison control, and they told me my symptoms aren't those of either one. Well, your symptoms show me lymph, but not necessarily that poison but a neurotoxic event and a mucosic response. A mucosic response or mucosal response is going to be mucus, which then swells things up. I went to emergency twice last April in this ferry. Both times said I'm fine. I know, that's typical. Very typical. I mean, you can go to a toxicologist, a lot of money and a lot of time, and detox will handle this. Both times he said I'm fine. Second time they took my blood sample, but only for vital signs, which they said was normal, but my magnesium was a bit high. Are these any foods that absolutely, sweetheart, absolutely. Lymphatic 1 liquid, kidney 1 liquid, endocrine gland liquid, parasite M liquid, and I do the adrenal liquid. And 7 years old, you got to go by weight. Look at the dosage on the back. Depends how much they weigh, but I'm going to say probably at least a quarter of a dropper full. Get her moving on it. And get her on grape fast and lemon fast. Get her cleaned out. Because you have to do that to... What are your thoughts on severe restlessness and myoclonic jerks? I have both some days. I go 5 days without sleep. Oh, Rick. Holy crap. Well, my thoughts are the same. Upper circ, brain and nerve. Antispasmodic. All right? Use the antispasmodic like you would any other formula, or you can use it even more often. All right, that's vital to help in that way. Same time, where am I going? I'm going to strengthen the nervous system. I'm going to do that two ways. I'm going to do that by increasing blood flow to the neurons, and I'm going to I'm going to use neuron strengtheners. At the same time, I want neurotransmitters. I'm going to go down and I'm going to get those adrenals under care. I'm going to get the kidneys up because I'm going to detox. I don't know whether you have neurotoxins or anything like this. I don't know if your myelin sheaths are down, but I assume all of the above. So then you want to detox these out. Use the antispasmodic. You want to get that pineal glandular before sleep, 1 or 2 hours before sleep, and help you to sleep. At the same time, you want to detoxify. Use the neurolymphatics, hot and cold on the cerebellum, top of a head. All these things to massage, to get moving, to loosen up, to hydrate, and get your kidneys filtering and pull yourself out of that one. But use the antispasmodic, upper circuit, brain, and nerve. Be very helpful to you. This is Daniel Dunbar. Go fruit yourself. I know. You have the most conditioned mind I've ever seen. This is true. I remember the guy that wrote this, little out of balance guy. And and he's coming off of a drug rehab. You know what? You do your very best. We have some people that cuss us 1 minute and love us the next. It's just the ups and downs of detoxification. That's all it is. And I disagree with you on that one. It's all about, and then in the next one he's out of balance there a little bit. You know what? And even if these people are out of balance, don't take what people say to you personally because they're hurting. These people don't know what they're saying. They're upset. They're hurting. They don't know. 1 minute they say one thing. The next minute they say something else. So, coming off of heavy drug use or anything else can be difficult. So you just give everybody love. It doesn't matter. Don't take things personally. Know yourself. When you know yourself, it doesn't matter what people say about you because you're happy and you know yourself. And don't let anybody tear you down off of yourself. Just give them love. Sticks and stones. People in glass houses, that sort of thing. Talk to the hand, the face isn't listening, because we're all just trying to help each other. And we don't run a narcissistic site, hopefully. So hopefully that we will, all come together and help souls like this to get in a bad way sometimes. And that's what we are here. We're way showers. We're light givers. We're not here to beat them up. We're here to show them the light. So I try. Sometimes you guys can get to me a little bit, but to tell you the truth, that's just my fault for being out of balance. As much as we try to stay in balance. Ism, which I have been doing for the past year. Oh, this is part of Daniel Dunbar too. Now this is the other thing. I tried the clay toothpaste, but I can't get these cavities under control. I've read this. I've read some of this before, Daniel. All I can say is that to regenerate cavities, you're in a lot of work. I'm saying it's doable, but I'm also saying I'm not being delusional about it. You got a lot of work ahead of you. I think it took Yas, a couple of years to really get his going. You can ask him. It took a friend of mine at least a year on Fruitarian, but God, he had the genes to do it. Holy crap. It's all about the lymph, how bad it is, the genes, and all that sort of thing. I guess I just have to drink pure green juice, which sucks, because it tastes bad without any sugar or lemon. No kidding. I agree, Daniel. I agree that greens are not the best tasting. That's why humans are not the connoisseurs of grass. We're the connoisseurs of fruits and berries. And that's what the flavor is. It makes you feel good, man. Get some flower essence to help you, by the way, Daniel. It'll help your disposition a lot, help you come flipping back and forth. All right? So you're up to a lot of work. Just worry about the acids in the body and in your mouth. That's the lymph system. Go with that first. This is Samuel. Hey, Samuel. Hi, Doc. What is your view on chemtrails? I'm still naive. I know that even NASA or the weather station talked about they use chemicals to try to change the weather patterns. What? Oh my God. Messing with things, especially when you're talking about planetary things, is spooky and crazy to me. I don't know. But I think that anybody that's throwing chemicals in the air other than minerals, but then minerals can unbalance if you're inhaling too many of one side. You got to understand that chemicals like this are ingested or throw the earth out of chemical balance. These guys are brainless, and yet they're supposed to be the most educated ones. Leave nature alone. Clean your planet and leave God alone to do its bidding and enjoy the ride. Thanks. It's true. Do you think they can impede regeneration even on people who eat 100% raw? Good question. I don't think enough. I think that I still believe in the power of the herb and the power of the food. So you have to be pretty toxic to let that override that. To tell you the truth, it has to be pretty toxic, but scary, because sometimes in Florida you have 6, 8, 9 chemtrails at once. They're bad. Now, I don't know whether it's true, but they found virals, HIV virals, they found all kinds of things in these chemtrails. I don't know. I don't know if it's factual. It's hard to make a statement when you don't have facts in front of you. But I can tell you there's enough evidence, I guess, about them that it's scary. And it's like, who's responsible for these things? They're the ones that need to pay. I mean, it's time that pseudoscience and the medical community step back. You're about to get butt wiped because this is just insane. And it's filtrated in all the other sciences. Also, let's say a person starts to be raw only at age 70 after a life of the usual ban of meats and dairies and starches. I know where you're going. Is it possible that they can reverse all the damage they have caused in their bodies all these years and become a whole new younger person in a few years? Absolutely. If I could just set up a camera and show you our clients as they come in month after month, as the wrinkles come out of them, as the hair comes back, all the things. I don't even work on myself, nothing like you guys are doing right now. I think I'm 43 years. I'm getting the energy and I'm working myself, and you guys help me with your excitements and stuff. And so, after years and years and years and years and years and years of this, all life beats you. So, but take a 70, 80, 90-year-old. The thing about the 80 and 90-year-olds is that they have strong genes. And you can get in and write on those babies. And I mean, what we've done to some of these people are unfriggin' real. Neat stuff. Neat stuff. Don't ever think, no matter what age you are, you're in a prison you can't get out of. Because we're here with the prison keys. Right? Thanks, Sam. Love you, man. Wow, time's progressing quite a bit, eh? Let's do one more. Oh, this is gin. Oh, I got so many, I hate to stop. Well, you got so many good questions, guys. I'm cutting it. I mean, I've only got this much left. Oh, there's that pile. Nope. Hey there, Dr. Morse. Hey there, Jen. Would like to start off by saying I have so much gratitude for. Oh, wow. Thanks, sweetheart. I appreciate it. I really do. I love all you guys. You guys are doing so well with yourselves. I'm so proud of you guys. Nothing, this is a wild ride down here. So I'm just so proud of you guys working yourself. It's tough. And you took it, it made sense to you, and you drove it home. Some of you guys have had major, major, major improvements. Hildy, yourself, don't deny that. You guys have had major, major, major improvements. Rita, incredible lady. I mean, you guys have done so well. I'm proud of you. But you see, it works. It's real. It's truth. And you guys work the program. The program exists. This is nature. You guys did the work on yourselves. You, the guys, be proud of yourselves. I'm a 26-year-old female. I know you say that we can regenerate all tissue, and that gives me so much hope with my face. I have been dealing with acne. Look at how many young people have acne, cystic acne, serious lymphatic problems. But where are we going when we go to that? Where are we going when we see acne on the skin? What system are we into? Where are we looking? We're looking at the lymphatic system, aren't we? We're not looking at blood. There's blood flowing through these tissues. That's not what's causing the redness and the breakdown. Blood isn't acidic. These are acids. So that's why you see the breakdown and the scarring, because you're burning your cells and you're depleting your calcium, and so your body has to scar that tissue to maintain its integrity. I mean, it's just on and on and on. So when you're younger, you can just about, because you can't go wrong anyway, you can just about know you have kidney and adrenal weaknesses. You don't walk with that kind of knowingness, but those are the tissues you're going to fix. I have dealt with it topically. Forget that. And that's the problem. You dermatologists, forget topical. Go internal. Learn detoxification, and your practice will really grow. It probably already is full of people that you can't help. This is the problem. So she's been using all kinds of things for it. All was fine until about 2 years ago. My skin had become dry and has an orange peel that texture. Orange peel, huh? That's interesting. Orange peel? Like texture on, orange peel, like texture on the cheek areas. I was going to say, some people are actually oozing the sulfur or your B vitamins that you took years ago. They're oozing those chemical residues through their skin. Seen that. I have some ice pick scarring on my cheeks. Poor thing. My skin does not seem to want to heal because you're not removing. You're topically suppressing. Matter of fact, do not be surprised, Jenny, that doesn't explode on you from what you've been doing. Don't be surprised. That's why you want to get those kidneys and adrenals moving and get filtration of the urine so this doesn't explode on you. And I would probably take it easy lymphatically for the first month and then hit it. Use the skin formula. I would do that, but I would open up all my points, my neurolymphatic points, down the sternum, down the back. I'd get my kidneys filtering, clean up the GI tract. This has got to drain, and you're well on your way to Wellville, sweetheart. My skin does not seem to want to heal. It's very red, very acidic. And, of course, that's going to keep vasculars dilated. It's going to also thin the capillaries and cause other problems. I do not have rosacea or anything, but it's close. I mean, that's just another stage. I have a lot of hyperpigmentation from acne that has lasted for years. Well, it's a systemic problem. It's an acidosis problem. And if you don't fix that system, you'll never have remedy. I don't see it in people as they get older, and you're tearing your skin apart. And your skin is made of what? Cells. Imagine what's going on inside of you. As a child, I had chronic sinus infections. See what I'm saying? And tonsillitis. I still have my tonsils. So, get this drained. I still, I would have loved to have had a picture of my eyes before I was a fruitarian just to see what I looked like. I have always had pretty bad dandruff. Uh-oh. So you see, honey, your lymph system's backed all in your brain. So remember, what you see on your skin is happening in your brain, in your thyroid, parathyroid, maybe in your lungs, in your bowel wall. Is there any reason we see the conditions we have when you understand what acids can do to you? That's why it should be right in your face, literally, about what you got to do. And do it now. The dandruff, those are acids taking their way out the skin. You want them to take their hike down, go through the lymph nodes, get neutralized. You leave this dandruff on your skin, see how it breaks down your skin and causes red blotches? Acids. I had dandruff growing up as a kid. I didn't know it was a milk. I didn't know it told me it was a milk. I had my appendix rupture at 14, so guess what you can assume from this, guys? Malabsorption. Because this is interstitial lymphatic constipation that swelled the lymph node. Now, I wonder how many other lymph nodes in the body explodes. The acne started at 18. I have always had irregular. So don't use acne as a disease. Use acne as a backed up lymph system, and you lost your appendix is proof that you have a little bit of a problem with that, Jen. I have, get this. She's always had irregular periods. So you know immediately her pituitary is involved. Like I said, know how you can begin to see a systemic issue here? So you're really backed up. The sinuses impacted the hypothalamus and pituitary area. So these are just the early stages of Alzheimer's and dementia, guys. And this girl's only 26 years old. So this is why it's so important that you take care of business now, no matter what. Because we get them too late. We save a lot of them, but there's just a few once in a while we just can't save. Not meant to be, of course, but still. People come in here way too advanced. You ladies, when you feel a little bump in the breast, deal with it right now. Get that lymph moving. Get that lump out of there. Don't wait until your breast is exploded open. Like that picture I flashed. And that was from a medical doctor that said, we'll just watch this tumor. So this lady, God. Rips at your heartstrings. That's for sure. That's for friggin' sure. So get your pituitary up there, sweetheart. 6 months ago, and of course, this can affect menopause when you get that. This can affect all kinds of things. Your height, your pigmentation of the skin. It can affect growth hormones. It can affect everything. Everything. 6 months ago, I started urinating blood. Oh, honey. I had uritis and cystitis. No kidding. You're all loaded up, honey. It's your lymph system. You're backed up even in the urinary tract. What's your creatinine levels? Remember, you want them below 0.6. And a CT scan showed I had a cyst on my right ovary and right kidney. So your kidneys aren't even filtering themselves anymore. So you want to be careful, sweetie. You're walking in danger, and you're only 26 years old, and you're walking in major danger zone. You want to get your kidneys filtering, get these cysts off the kidneys, off of the bladder or ureters. You want to clean all this body up. Start pulling all these acids out of here. Get this brain cleaned up, sweetheart. I'd use upper circuit brain and nerve right now, if it's affordable, and then get these kidneys, adrenals up and filtering. Clean the gut, bowel out. Really get yourself going. My blood pressure is always about 80/60. Holy crap. 80/60. How do you get enough energy to go to school or work, honey? 80s. That's chronic fatigue. I pass out sometimes. No shit. Man. upper brain nerve, get on the adrenal 400s, at least I do 2-3 times a day of the 400s. If it was me, I'm into my kidneys, I'm into my lymph system, I'm into my GI tract. I'm going to start cleaning and moving out. Guys, this is one that needs help. I know all of that has to do with my skin. All of that's creating the skin problem. You're just seeing your lymph system exploding all over the place, including in the eliminative organs of that system, meaning the eliminative organs are in trouble now. So you got to get going, honey, and you can fix all this up. You just got to get going. Get on a fruit diet. Move yourself toward a grape, fruit, subacid, whatever. Get into these high fruit diet. Get your body detoxified. I have been a vegan for almost 2 months now, and I'm feeling better. Move it on up. Move it on up. I started on your adrenal and kidney and bladder tincture. I would just like to know what I need to do. Also, would you recommend derma rolling? Never heard of derma rolling. Derma rolling. Uh-oh. I don't know what that is. I can't... got to be careful what you do with the skin, man. I have read it could help, but I know this is an internal problem. Thanks. You know, that's what I love about you guys. You guys are getting this, and it's important that you do. Look at this 26-year-old. Jen, I feel bad for you suffering with these things, but you know what? I love you. You can get this done. Focus. Get this done. The Facebook people will help you. All those lovely souls are there helping so many people. I love you guys. My God, there's so many of us now. I love it. Jen, you become one of us. Get your body in good shape, and you'll have a good life there, sweetheart. Well, I'm going to try to, I've got, this is my Friday. So I have Thursday and Friday that I come in and catch up on all my work and stuff and all my protocols and everything. But I'm going to try to do another video and see if I can knock the rest of this out. That'd be good. But for now, this is going to be one long video unless Chris divides it up into 2. Well, all I can say is I thank you so much for tuning into our site here. And I just love to see all you souls willing to help yourselves. You know, a lot of us have walked some walks, and of course all of us could always do better, right? Right. So, no judgment. You're all doing well. We love you all, and that's it. Give love to all life. Recognize your spirituality and who you really are. Remember what this next week or 2 is involved in. Desirelessness. You don't want anything. You don't need anything. I don't want a car. I don't want a house. I don't want clothes. I don't want a purse. I don't want anything. I'm totally happy just being, because I'm whole. I'm complete. These are tools and toys and playground stuff. And try to spend a week or 2 in the desireless state. Buddha worked it for years. Try to work it. Christ, shoe in. Love you guys. May the blessings be. And from my heart to yours, let's bring this world up a little bit more. And it's not just this world. And it's not just this whole dimension. Remember cosmos? If anything, you begin to see the view God has of its creation. You know, it's how you look deeper in it. I was thinking about Google Earth, which to me, a strict violation of constitutional rights and privacy rights. You guys, it's neat to be able to go, oh, look, let's go find where they live. Oh, right down. We find the planet, the province, the village, or wherever. Then we home down, find the state or village or whatever. Then we home down and find the town, village. We home down and find the street. Modern stuff. But when you lose all freedom and you have no privacy, war begins. Remember that. Governments need to remember that. And you never can win over the people. You might kill a bunch of them, but you can never win over the people. And of course, we are trying to uplift this whole consciousness of all this. But did you see all the galaxies? If you've ever been out of your body, try to pull in the physical. Try not to, there's always you're going to go. But the beauty of the galaxies, and it's a tapestry of beauty that God created. A tapestry of beauty. And then you can pull deeper, you can pull deeper, and you can pull deeper. But the deeper you go, the more you have a tendency to lose yourself. You become the looker, and you take on what you're seeing. And pretty soon you forget that who you are, the viewer, and the experiencer of the view. And so that's all we're doing, is we're becoming whole again. We're becoming conscious, awake as the viewer. And we're pulling ourselves away from Google Earth and Google Astral World, Google Causal World, and we're pulling ourselves up into the soul plane, into who you really are. Sounds wild. Sounds like a lot of fun to me. So we'll see you. You guys like roller coaster rides and stuff, right? Bye-bye now. See you to the next video.